welcome into the Ride the Wave podcast. I am your host, Clay. This is my right-hand man, Adam. And this is one of my best friends here, Andy Bilano. We're here to give you a mental vacation today. Have a good, nice, relaxing. Well, you'll probably watch us on a Monday, but we're having a good Sunday. You guys having a good weekend so far?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
So we're going to hop in, just kind of start the show off. At UFC last night was electric. Absolutely electric. Now, I personally won about $10 off the fights total. Was down, so I had this one chick. She was 10-0, going up against this other chick. She had like 5 losses or something. Yeah, and everybody's in the room. They're like, 10-0 chick, definitely going to win. No doubt about it. So I'm like, hell yeah, let's put $10 on her. Knocked out in 30 seconds. There goes all my money. So I was like, yeah, great investment for the show is what I thought there. Adam, what did you think about the UFC last night?
Well, I mean, anytime I watch the UFC, I always kind of make decisions based on not necessarily like just based on stats and stuff like that. And you kind of saw I'm pretty good at predicting stuff. Like I told you that fight was going to be third round KO or TKO.
You did. He did call the final fight. He said third round knockout. Almost exactly on cue. About a minute or two into the third round, he gets knocked out.
Yeah, I just wish that the odds were a little better because I was like, oh, man, I had to bet like way too much to just get a little bit of money, so I'm good on that. It was just too on the money.
One of the most absolutely electric fights last night was, I think his name is De La Plessis. Is that how you say that?
I do not know.
Well, I totally butchered that, but that's kind of what it smells like. But he finally wins over his opponent, Robert Whitaker.
Yeah, Robert Whitaker.
Yeah, so he wins the fight over that, and then he finally gets crowned the champ, or for the title fight, right? He was 5, his opponent was 2, so he was the underdog. After he gets finally the dub, the successor, Israel Adesanya. Adesanya, thank you. Yeah. Gets in the ring and gets in his face. Look at this. He's telling him basically in this, because the audio is way too terrible for us to play for you. He's pretty much saying, hey, I don't like your candy. I don't like the way your breath smells. I don't like you as a human, and I'm going to end you. And that's basically what he tries to say there. Now, Duplessis, it was a very well-respected man, but I would be absolutely pissed if I just won the biggest fight of my life and a guy jumps in the octagon, pretty much stands me up, and I can't say anything.
That's kind of the UFC.
The reason Izzy was in the ring there is because that's going to be the next fight that
exactly.
happens. I say Robert Whitaker and Izzy, they had a couple great fights. I say they had one over in Australia. Yeah, it was in Australia. So Izzy's originally, he's from Africa, but his family moved over to New Zealand. So New Zealand and Australia, they have a rivalry.
Yeah,
they kind of don't like each other. And that fight was just a great fight. I've been pretty big Izzy fan just because he.
So that makes sense because the South Africa guy, the De La Plessis, he kept saying, "Well, what about New Zealand? What about New Zealand?" I did not understand that, but I guess that makes sense because him being from New Zealand there. But it just to me, man,
a lot of people don't consider Izzy one of the, like some people do. Like when there was a time when there was 3 African champ, which was Ngannou, who was originally from Africa but moved to France, and then you had Usman. The Nigerian Nightmare, who's just a dog until he got unlucky, Brandon Leon Edwards. And then you had Izzy, but he moved to New Zealand. But I think he was kind of like his parents were originally from Africa and then kind of raised him in New Zealand.
Yeah, but I mean, good on his part, though, because, I mean, that's Conor McGregor level marketing right there. I mean, that's just hyping up the fight before the fight's even set, you know what I mean? So, and that's just him getting, hey, I'm getting paid. And it's like when Conor and Floyd were fighting. They're just doing all this extra stuff, but that seems a lot more real. You know what I mean? The Conor and Floyd stuff.
Conor and Floyd, that was definitely a paycheck. It's
exactly. That was all about a paycheck.
Yeah.
This guy is
if that fight never happens, McGregor would probably be way better than he is now because he got way too much money for that. Got a little complacent and kind of like, you know,
and he's trying to make his comeback
inner
now.
Dog in him, you know. But yeah, he's getting back to it now. I got a love and hate relationship with McGregor. You know, he's a great fighter. He just does a lot of stupid, questionable stuff off outside of the ring. I can't say off the court because they're not playing on a court. They're in a ring.
But yeah, going on with the shows. Well, we got a jam-packed show today, guys.
Oh, absolutely.
First off, we're gonna have Newt Hoops, no big deal.
Dog.
Reigning player of the year. After them, we're gonna have Brock Netta. He's going to be coming on, giving us some insight. And then we're going to end the show off with our third and final guest, Dylan Swingle, which I don't know if you guys know. Absolute
Former
dog.
SVC dog, now Mac dog.
Yes.
Bowling Green.
And he's doing some good things in the community to promote and everything like that. So it's going to be good. Talking about dogs, though, man. Looking at the SVC last year in football, it looks like they had some dogs of themselves. Zane Trace finishes 7-0. Wins the gold ball, wins the SVC with Unio right behind him.
Total record, only one loss on the year.
Yeah. I think the one loss I think is the playoff loss. I think they went undefeated the entire regular season.
Yeah,
and then lost in the playoffs.
A real close one too. I think it was like 28-14, but it was still a little closer. I guess I can just get the score immediately right here.
And then I think the Unio that finishes second behind him, 6-1, right in the league. The one loss coming to Zane Trace, if I do remember correctly.
It was 28-19 on that Zane Trace.
28-19 on the
Zane Trace playoff
loss. Yeah. If you pull up the Unio Zane Trace game, because from what I remember, that thing was an absolute shootout. And we got to remember too, Newt, I think last year was coming off of an injury the year before. But I'm pretty sure they were playing Paint Valley, and the year before Newt got hurt, I think it was his shoulder or his elbow or something like that.
Unio to Zane Trace 35-31.
Yeah, see, so an absolute nail biter. Had to easily be the game of the year. You know what I mean? Especially with the two powerhouses, it's on the line for the gold ball. I mean, and you got dogs out there.
I know that was their one loss in the interconference, but was that their only loss in the season as well, or did they? No, they dropped another. They dropped one outside conference.
Right.
I think that was was that a playoff loss?
Yeah, that was the playoff loss as well. Yeah, so I think
not a bad loss to have.
No, I mean making it to the playoffs. So
huge.
And in the past, I would say 10 years when Metzger first went there, has completely turned it around.
Oh yeah.
And then Matt Hoops kind of goes in there and just picks up the torch and keeps going.
That's a loaded team.
Being a guy from Vinton County. Oh, sorry.
They have their best receiver last year in school history. Like, they had a stacked team.
Exactly. They've had some absolute dogs coming up.
But being from Vinton County, we always play Unio to, week one kind of.
Yeah, it's like a little rivalry outside the SVC.
Yeah, honestly, they're probably one of our biggest rivalries outside of the TVC. But there for a while, it was because we both were kind of bad. We were always like, who's gonna get this dub? And then I remember my freshman year, we got up 14-0 going into halftime. Off of 2 Joey Beatty touchdowns, and then Unio just came out in the second half, ended up winning the game 36-14. And that was kind of like the last time I remember, hey, we had a shot at winning this Unio game, and then that was 4 years of them just beating us.
Yeah.
I don't know. We could have won my junior year. I can't really recall. But I wanted to say that.
But yeah, I mean, I remember it kind of started with, like I said, Metzger. Clay Edler was kind of a dog, and then I remember Newt as a kid, walking around with Hoops as a coach's son. You know what I mean, going around practice and everything like that. And we can sit here, we can talk about them all day, but we could also have the reigning district player of the year, most touchdown passes in a season, in a game for the youth, not just a football athlete, not just a basketball athlete, not just a baseball athlete, the one, the only Newt Hoops. Newt,
what's up?
How's it going, pal?
Good. How are you?
Good, man. How's your weekend going?
Yes, pretty good. I just got back from vacation. So
oh, yeah? Did you guys end up get to watch any of the UFC fights last night?
No.
No, oh man, you missed some.
I'm not a big UFC guy. Like I don't watch that much.
Okay. What kind of sports are you watching? I'm guessing obviously baseball, basketball, football.
Yeah. Those are pretty much the three main ones I'm watching all the time.
Heck yeah. So obviously you're a dog in football, you're a dog in basketball, you're a dog in baseball. Which one do you feel like is your best sport, your favorite sport?
Football is definitely my favorite sport.
Heck yeah.
That's why I try to go for the most.
Heck yeah. Now, we were talking about it here a little bit. Did you have an injury your sophomore year, and then you were out for a little bit, and then going into your junior year? It was kind of like your comeback season. which for your comeback season being most touchdown passes in a season, I would say that's pretty okay. Can you talk about your injury and kind of like your steps to come back from that?
So it was, I think, week 6. It was like the second drive against Payne Valley, and I was rolling out and the linebacker blitz, and I threw it, and we collided. Like right when I threw the ball, he hit me, and we both landed on the ground. And I was like, "Oh man, this hurts." I was like, "Oh, it's just a stinger. I'm fine." But I was rolling on the ground, and then our trainer comes out, and I was like, "It's a stinger. Get me up. Get me on the sideline. Get me out for one play. I'll come back." And he's touching. He's like, "I don't know." I was like, "I'm fine." I get up. I take my first step, and I can feel the bones moving. I'm like, "Oh my god, there's no way. There's no way it's actually happening." So that was that, and then I think that was Friday. The following Monday, I got in with Dr. Cohen, Cohen Orthopedics, and he's amazing, and he got me all right. And 6 weeks later, I was in my first basketball scrimmage playing. So I mean,
oh my god, look at this guy! His bones even recover faster than other humans. Look at this.
I was not. I hated it. After the first surgery, I was in at AP Prep, and I was training with one arm. And I was like, "What? I can't sit around for this long." So that was that. And I mean, I stressed about just trying to get my shoulder as best as it can.
Right.
So I didn't try to do too much to where it made it worse or anything. So I tried to get as much like work as I could with it, and I mean things happen.
Right, and rehab is not fun, man. I mean, I remember my senior year, I destroyed my shoulder, and I remember I came back and my coach was like, "Hey, what'd the doctor say?" And I said, "He said it's okay, good to go." You know what I mean? But I just kind of rehabbed it throughout the season, and you got to remember, like, hey, it's going to get better. It's going to get better. But there's a lot of times in the middle you're like, I'm never going to be able to use this arm again. Like, it's gone.
Right.
It's good. So you literally have your shoulder displaced, and then you're trying to go back in the game. Dog, by the way. So then you come back, like I said, don't do anything big, just the most touchdown passes in the season and the game. How do you take that success from last year, right? Because you do lose a little bit of people. I think you lost your best wide receiver in school history.
Mm-hmm.
He graduates, but you still have dogs there. You know what I mean? You still have a chance.
Right. The dog that comes to mind is Fox. Had a 918 yards last year. So seems like he might have been your favorite receiver out there.
And for you guys finishing second last year, you know, I don't want to say you guys are being overlooked because we all know exactly what we're getting, but I guess you could say you're flying a little bit under the radar. How do you take that success from last year and implement it into this year to stay hungry?
Yeah, we definitely lost some really good weapons, but I mean, I also think at the same time we also got a year older with 7 of our 11 defensive starters coming back, and me and Blake, I think we have a great connection on the field. So I mean, he was my second go-to receiver last year. So he's been getting some work in, and he's really ready. And
touchdown.
We also got some other guys that played some last year, so they have experience now, and I think they're all ready as well. And I mean, we got 2 of our starting offensive linemen who are amazingly good leaders who have just. I mean,
that offensive line and the quarterback relationship is huge, man. I mean, absolutely huge. How do you keep that good relationship going? You buy them some pancakes or something like that?
Yeah. I try to keep a good relationship with them all. I mean, I try to hang out with most of them, and I'm always trying to do something with them. I mean, it's got to be a great relationship because you want them to have your back all the time. So
it looks like you're getting some nice workout in this little workout video. Look at this. 2 steps up. Boom, gun.
Dime.
Derek, if you could play that last touchdown pass real quick, I think that's the one that Newt broke the season touchdown record on that one. Yeah, this one right here.
Throwing better than Tampa's quarterbacks in these videos.
So, Blake, right? Is he a wide receiver for you guys, or is he? Here
right.
It is.
Yeah.
Breaks the school touchdown pass, nice little swing pass, make a move. And this is what you're talking about, man. You make a great pass, a great read on that swing pass, and then you have weapons that can be like, hey, man, I'm about to take this literally 55 yards to the house.
Yeah, that was actually the game. I went 6 for 7. We only passed the ball 7 times.
Jeez.
7. And I think it was 230 yards out of those 6 completions.
Oh my god! Yeah, that's
And-
the only reason you had to pass it 6 times.
And that was the game that I had the 5 touchdowns. So I knew I had
so
to-
in the same game, he doesn't just break the school season touchdown
that's a
record.
single
He
game return.
single
Yeah.
game touchdown.
Dog.
Hey, way to go, man! We gotta give you another round of applause on that one.
My
Thank
favorite
you.
play from the huddle that you sent over was you were rolling right, and your first and second option were covered, and you just see wide open across field. You make a crossbody throw, about 45-yard touchdown pass. It was just beautiful. I think it was like 3-4 minutes into it. I was like, God.
Oh,
So-
yeah. I mean,
Just incredible vision. 'Cause,
Go ahead,
like,
go ahead.
as soon as I saw the ball, I was like, oh, didn't even see that guy. I'm watching the video from the press box.
who do you try to emulate your game after? Who's some of the quarterbacks you like to watch?
Oh, that's Money Manziel.
Oh.
Yeah,
I love Joe Burrow. He's
yeah, can't.
huge
cannot,
role
dog.
model to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a Bengals fan, but I'm a
Who
huge
you like?
Joe
Who
Burrow.
you like?
Go Browns.
Hey, go Browns! There we go.
All
Doghouse.
day.
All right, Newt, another question I got for you. So, like I said before you came on the show, I can remember whenever I was going to Matt camps and you were running around as a kid, just getting better, soaking in the game. What's it like having your dad as your coach, not just for football, but for basketball too? And it's not like you guys are having success. You guys are out there absolutely winning and on the field and on the court. What's it like getting to play with your dad and experience that?
It's awesome. I mean, I was really excited when I was able to do this, and it's super fun. But at the same time, it's a grind.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I know that he's gonna be on me the most just because,
Right.
and it sucks sometimes. But at the same time, I'm like, he knows what's best for me, and he's gonna do that, and he's just wanting me to get better. And I mean, he knows what he's talking about. He's been doing it for almost 20 years now. So
You guys ever comparing stats?
yeah.
Talking.
What is it?
You guys ever talking smack, comparing stats? You're like, hey, Dad, I know you played here,
Oh.
but who's holding the record?
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Just driving on the car, we'll just be talking about it. It gets.
That's awesome, man.
I mean, I've watched him my whole life, and like it's kind of grown on me. Like sometimes I catch myself doing the same things he's doing, and I'm like, well, I mean, you can tell I've been around him my whole life. And, I mean, it's kind of fun. Like I've kind of thought about.
Yeah.
But it's fun. It's sometimes, but
Especially having your brother there too. Is your brother? You said your wide receiver, right? So you guys have to have
Yeah.
some kind of good connection. I mean, throwing ball in the yard your entire lives.
Chemistry.
yeah, definitely, that's fun too. I mean, that can also suck too. 'Cause he's like, I'm open. I'm like, Blake, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I'm trying to get to you.
You're like, yeah. So is
But I
everybody
mean-
else, Blake.
yeah. I remember one play at Python. It was a play where he's not even one of the reads, like at all. And he's like the whole time going back to the hole, he's like in my ear, he's like, give it to me. Throw me the ball. I'm open. I promise.
True receiver.
I'm like, okay, we'll see what happens. So I'm going through my reads, and I'm like, oh, he's open. So I threw it way back where he was, and he caught it and scored. And I was like, oh, there you go. I
Hey,
mean,
well, there goes
when
the
he
get
does
more.
it open, he's usually open.
That's awesome, man. I'm glad too you get to experience that. Like it's one
Yeah.
thing getting out there and getting to be with your friends, be with your teammates, man, dog. But to have your dad as your coach and your brother literally as your right hand man, just absolutely to have it end in success as well is just something that's awesome to watch, man. And it's been fun to
For sure.
watch for sure. Now, like you said, last year you played Zane Trace. I'm going to ask you the hard question. You lose. They got to be circled on your calendar this year. Am I right?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
That's what we look forward to every year. We remember that game last year. We remember every play pretty much, what we
Yeah.
could have done, what we did. I mean, there's always something we could have done during that game to help us
Right.
win. But I mean, things happen how they happen, and we've thought about it ever since. So I think I don't know.
You guys got him at home.
It's got a lot of us just thinking about it all the time. What is it?
I said you guys got him at home this year. Or you guys playing
Right.
at St. Trace?
Home this year. Yep.
Home this year.
Okay,
I got the home field advantage. And we had Cam Evans on the show last week, and we kind of talked to him about the Zane Trace Union rivalry. Obviously, he gave us the Zane Trace side. Can you talk to because you get the experience of having it for football and for basketball, and in both sports these past few years, you guys have been right at the top of both. Can you just kind of talk about having that amazing rivalry and getting to be a part of it? Because we were kind of talking, it's the SVC's version of Michigan, Ohio State, Celtics versus Lakers. You know what I mean? Yankees, Red Sox.
Right,
I mean, it is. You guys could be 10-0. You guys could be 0-10, and it's the game of the year.
It does not matter. Yeah, it's an awesome experience. I mean, the atmosphere during those games are amazing. It's always packed and it's loud. And, both teams are going to give their best, and both teams are going to have great players. So, I mean, it's super fun to be a part of. I mean, I've grown up watching it every year, and it's as a water boy, I was into it. Like, I felt like I had to be a part of the team during it, and it's awesome. I mean, this year in football, we came up short, one play, time ran out. Yeah. Basketball, same exact thing. We just didn't have time to. It's last second shot, and we came up short both
like
times.
You've thought about it every day since.
I mean, in this house, I mean, I feel like we might be the most competitive people in this house, and
they breed
all
success,
of
man.
Chillicothe.
Breed success.
I mean,
what's one of your favorite stories, either from the Zane Trace rivalry or just playing football? I know you gotta have a ton of them.
I don't know. There's a ton.
Your favorite touchdown has to be the history making one, right? Easy.
That was an awesome one. I mean, when it happened, I was like, wow, this actually happened, because ever since a freshman, I'm like, I'm gonna do this. Like, I want to do this. Like, but then when it finally happened, I was like, wow, like this actually happened. I can't believe it. So.
How close are you to the career record? Do you know?
I need two more.
Not that easy.
Jeez, you're about to
week one type stuff.
I was about to say you're gonna break the record by 5 touchdowns in week 1.
You guys play Vinton County week 1?
Yes, they
I
do.
hope so.
Yeah, you gotta have about 6 of them. No, they're a lot better this year, I say, but probably definitely
they're good. Yeah, I mean, I remember my first ever varsity game was against them, and you could tell I've never played varsity
football. Speeds up a little bit, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it was just back and forth. I mean, our defense was amazing that game, and I remember our offense was terrible. And it came down. It was like, I think it was, I don't remember, maybe 12-7 with like 5 seconds left, and I thought I was gonna make the play, and I ended up throwing an interception. I was like, wow.
Welcome to
first game
welcome to high
ever.
School.
Welcome to high school. This is something. But
it looks like you guys do have a rekindled rivalry with Waverly. I've been going to your guys. I think me and Andy have been going to him for years now. What's it kind of like having like the cross county rivalry there with Waverly? Because they're a powerhouse of their county as well.
Yeah, I mean that's like it's kind of like the same thing when we play Zane Trace. Like the atmosphere is amazing. Like it's. People are going to show up, and both teams have great players, and they're both going to give them their all. I mean, it's awesome. Like last year, it was a great game. I feel like it was finally the game that we came out, and we were just like, wow, we can be good. Like we still didn't know for sure yet, and we were like, let's go. Let's the rest of the year.
You guys went too, playoff appearance, everything, breaking records like you do. I just want to personally say, man, thank you for taking time out of your day. I know just driving back from a vacation, and the last thing you want to do is wake up at 8 o'clock on a Sunday morning.
Talk to a bunch of idiots.
Before we get you out of here, listen, this is the Ride the Wave show.
Probably the most important question of the day.
Yeah, we do very serious journalism here, all right? So we need full focus. You're watching Ohio State. It's a nice Saturday. You're doing some tailgating.
It's Ohio State, Michigan. It's the
Ohio-
game.
Yeah, the game.
Yeah.
All right? You got to make
Yep.
a tailgate plate. You get one main, 2 sides, and a drink. What you doing, my friend?
Pressure.
All right. So, okay, you're not gonna believe me. It might be a little weird, but Chick-fil-A.
Oh, let's
Oh.
go! Yes!
Solid pick. Okay.
Love
Good
that.
thing it's not a Sunday game.
Yeah.
Good thing we picked college.
Yeah, good thing it's Saturday. All right, 2
Yeah,
sides.
When I go up to the game, I got a friend, and Tom Lewis. He caters so much Chick-fil-A, and it's just
Shout out to
that's
Tom
what
Lewis
I'm-
for saving lives with that Chick-fil-A. For
oh
real.
yeah,
Chick-fil-A, not a
Yes.
sponsor yet. Will be in the future. Please.
for sure.
Chick-fil-A, hear me. We're coming.
2 sides. I don't know.
You go get some dip.
I mean,
you
you
go
got
get some
some
fries.
potato chips or something.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
I don't know. Then
What are you gonna
just
get
a
to
drink. I mean, when it's a hot day out, you just gotta get a water from me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Just
about to say that's a good choice. That's a good choice. All right, dude. Well, hey, best of luck to you this year. I think we're trying to schedule your Waverly Unioda game for week 3 as one of our college high school game day shows. So.
Obviously, Zane
That's
Trace
awesome.
Unioda at Unioda. That's
Exactly.
Gonna be a big one.
We'll be at
We'll
that same
definitely be
Trace
there.
Unioda game too, my friend. Hey, man,
sir.
thanks for coming on, and hopefully this isn't the last time.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, new hoops. What an electric
Appreciate it.
interview.
What a
an
dog.
electric interview.
Dog.
Such a humble
Dog.
kid, too, man. I mean,
Yeah.
not a lot of kids can go out there and basically break records and records and
Casually.
records. And then be like, bro, teammates, dogs, they help me out. They do the best. Like,
6 for 7 passing. Can
only
we
for
just talk about that?
250 yards? I've seen people go 6 for 7 for 3 yards. Like, that's insane. And to do it on the high school level, and not just the high school level, but they're going to playoffs. They're not losing. Like, they're winning games. Like, to keep that sustained success is just something that you really don't see too often in high school. It's more like, hey, we had a good year. We might have had a good couple years. They've been doing it for 3.
Like he said, they were a play away from that Zane Trace game being a little bit different, and then maybe they get to play.
Yeah, they're the one with the
better,
gold ball.
Yeah, they get a better seed, and they
Exactly.
get the first round playoff win.
And that's what's crazy about the SVC is, I think Combs talked about it a little bit last week. Was, basketball you got Division II's Unioda, and then everyone's crammed in Division III. Maybe Paint Valley falls to Division IV, but in football, there are almost not a lot of people in the same division. I think Southeastern Unioda are in the same division region. I don't even know if Zane Trace is. So like, their wins and losses against each other doesn't hurt them too much, but the region's going to look at that. You know what I mean? Because they're like, hey, Zane Trace is good in this region, this division. You win that, you're going to catapult, like you said. You lose that, he could drop you from home field advantage to going on the road.
Yeah, like just looking at how the SVC fell last year. It's everybody's like one. Like Uniola had 1 conference loss, Paint Valley had 2, Piketon had 3. Just kind of goes down the list right in a row. And Paint Valley and Piketon, it seems like those are 2 schools that are going to possibly be bouncing back this year.
They
Maybe have a
always
possible.
do.
Yeah, they're going to be possibly fighting for a top spot there. Maybe 1 or 2 plays go different for them, and they're looking at 6 and 2 instead of 4 and 3.
Kind of coming from a Paint Valley guy, it's going to be weird to say, but we have to give a shout out to Huntington and what they're doing over there. I mean, I hate to say it, but there were seasons where they were going 0-10 every single year. They couldn't get done. And I know 5-6, some people might be like they didn't even have a winning record. 5-6 over at
That's
Huntington,
huge,
man. Yeah, they're turning it around, and this I hope they don't take
They
it
got
as
some
condescending.
Like I was saying earlier with Vinton County, we were 1-9, 1-9, 1-9, 1-9, and then my junior year we went like 5-5, and then 2-8. But then Coach Carper, he's finally got a winning attitude back. So hopefully this week 1 Unioda Vinton County game is going to be pretty good. Get the rivalry going back again.
And kind of what you said too, it's always been a good game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whether they're both good, both bad, and it's kind of like one's good, one's bad. It seems like they've always got at least some kind of
it can
tight
work out
game.
that way, but
But and that's with Huntington, man. Like, I think it really turned around when they got Elijah McCloskey. He kind of came up, and he was an absolute three-sport athlete dog. I mean, he was an absolute athlete at the quarterback, and I feel like he and the coach they had there at that time finally implemented a winning culture. You know what I mean? Like, I know 5 wins doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're only winning 1, when you're winning none, 5 wins, man, that can lead to 6 win, 7 win, 8 win season. They were in the playoffs last year.
Yeah, that's why they were below 500. You know, they're 5-5 and make the playoffs. Still, you know, they made the playoffs. Had a 500 regular season record.
And they went. I'm pretty sure they went either 2-1 or 3-0 and out of. Let me see this real quick. Sorry. Yeah, so they went 2-1 and out of conference play.
It's not bad.
No, that's not bad at all. That's that kind of proves kind of like what we were saying with volleyball. The SVC is just.
It's
good.
kind of solid top to bottom. You know, it's good at the top and the bottom, even though, you know, you got Adina and Westfall being, you know, 2-5, 1-6, and then Southeastern. Not gonna.
But if you think about 2 years ago, or maybe a little bit longer, maybe 3 years ago, Southeastern went gold ball after gold ball. Adina was winning the league title. And Westfall, I mean, we're never going to forget those 2009 and 2012 Westfall teams.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
All time.
Yeah, all it takes is 3 years for this thing to reset, and then we're looking at Southeastern, Westfall, and Adina being at the top, and Zane Tracy,
exactly.
Payne Valley being at the bottom, possibly. You know?
And it's why. Hey, whoa.
I don't want it to happen.
Payne Valley's not at the bottom. Okay, what the heck? But that's kind of what we were saying here. Is like. What?
It happens to everybody.
Hey, it doesn't happen to us, all right? I'm going to be the Black Wave, by the way. Can't see it on the screen, but go PV, Black Wave, ride the wave, same wave. Anyways, but, yeah, I mean, just from top to bottom, it can reload, reflip, you know what I mean? Because before I was in high school, Southeastern didn't win anything. They get Des Perkins, who is a man amongst boys. I mean, this dude made me almost quit playing sports forever. That's how hard he ran me over. And then they go with Lane Rupee and win a gold ball. You know what I mean? It had, I think, 3 or 4 years of winning gold balls, winning the league title.
Well, I know, like, when we were in high school, we'd always do, like, a scrimmage against them. And I remember every year thinking, why aren't these guys on our schedule? Yeah, we're 1-9 every year. Why aren't these guys on our schedule?
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. It's just
my thing with Southeastern is I'm a little biased because I remember I went to a game. It was the year after I graduated. Yeah, year after I graduated, Bryce Newland throws a 50-yard Hail Mary pass touchdown to win the game. And they called offensive pass interference on the wide receiver who didn't touch the DB at all. I was like, how are you going to rob that kid of like probably the greatest play of the season? So sorry about the Panthers. Still a little sour about it. But I want to kind of go back to UFC real quick, guys. It was just absolutely electric last night. You know what I mean? It's insane to just watch 2 humans get thrown into a cage and be like, all right, fight to the death. You know what I mean? Andy, what were your opinions about the fight last night?
That was crazy. I mean, the first, 4 fights, I think, the 3 people didn't get touched in the face. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah, they were, all,
ran
first
through
round knockouts. Yeah.
No, you guys got lucky because you guys got to see a Robbie Lawler fight. And it was his retirement fight, and that dude is just a dog.
I think he goes again.
You know?
I think he goes again.
Yeah, he's one of those guys,
most time they cut their gloves off and leaves them. Throughout the way he was acting, knockout, I bet he goes one more time.
The Diaz brothers, to where, are they ever truly done? Because Nate took 3 years off, came back, has been in and out. Nick, his older brother, took some time off, came back, fought Robbie Lawler. It just didn't look like he had his heart in it anymore, unfortunately. But Robbie definitely did. It was kind of a one-sided fight on that side. But
and so, and the reason that we were all so excited about this UFC fight card coming up Saturday is because my friend that I work with, Bobby, he had a friend. His name was Josiah Harrells. He is from the Grove City Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Academy. He actually ran someone through a cage in a fight, man. I mean,
push him right out the cage.
Yeah, literally. I mean, it was awesome. One of the most electric things I've ever seen. So he gets invited to go fight in the UFC as one of the undercards on Saturday. Goes to get his brain MRI and found out that in his brain scan he had it was like a rare brain disease. I'm not 100% sure where it was. I don't think it was like cancer or anything, but it was something to the form of he could barely hit it, and it could have ended his life.
It was like
T's and P's.
wasn't it like an assist or something?
Yeah,
like
it was
that?
kind of like what Cole had. Cole
Okay.
Miller. It was kind of something like that to where if that thing
T's
busted,
and P's, T's and P's.
yeah,
T's
he
and
was.
P's.
Yeah, T's and P's to him. They found that out, and immediately the UFC got him into surgery, got him into the hospital. So he is going to get that taken care of. But the good news is that it is not career ending.
And the UFC's holding the spot for him.
Yeah,
you know,
and
like
the
that's-
UFC is holding a spot for him, so he will fight on a card again. So, hey, Josiah,
Good job, Dana.
Hey,
on that
get-
one.
get-
Hell yeah, let's go.
Get
Good
well
job.
out there. It would be awesome if we can get him on the show, kind of talk about the experience, and we'll see this guy turn around. And I'm sure he was actually the favorite of his fight.
The adversity that he is going to have to go through, you know, the battle back, everything like that is just going to be, you know, it's going to
He's
add.
ready to
he's
run
gonna
through
add
two cages.
Fuel. He's going to add fuel to him. Yeah.
It's gonna have to be a double cage match. But it's just it's crazy to think that things like sports, man, like you can be on the highest of highs, and then it sucks to say it's the lowest of lows, but at the same time, the UFC basically just saved this man's life. You know what I mean? Like he could have just been in a sparring match, and then one missed throw
He could have
punch.
bumped his head on a door or something.
Exactly.
And just,
Exactly.
you
He
know.
could have. The smallest, slightest thing could have
Just
just
right
hit
at
him
the
in the
right
head. ends his
spot.
life.
It could have just ruptured it, you know?
It's just. Thank you again, UFC. One more thing. Thank
Dana's
you,
got a
UFC.
history of doing
Thank
that.
you,
He did the
UFC.
same with Chuck Liddell.
Yeah.
Oh, who
Yeah.
we got coming on next?
But go into that for. Let's talk about something a little bit more joyful, a little bit more sporty. We got our next guest, Brock. He's gonna be coming on here in about 5 minutes. Go back to the football. You know, let's bring up the mood a little bit right there. You know, actually, hold on the football for a minute. Alex Gordy, he was a wrestler from Southeastern. He just won a belt in the NFC down in Georgia for. It's basically like UFC, but like one of the lower weights. Another dog coming out of Southeast Ohio, man.
Yeah, it's kind of like the you know, LFA stuff like that.
Yeah, and it looks like he's on his way up to do some stuff like that. He's got some wrestling camp that he's coming back to talk to. So it's kind of cool to watch these Southern Ohio kids go do something big, do some great, and then come back and give back to the community.
They're always bringing it back.
Yeah.
Every one of these guys talking about the community, their teammates. Like, that's the best.
And that's just how I feel like Southeast Ohio is, man. Then that's talk about Joe Burrow. Like, that's why I think it's so awesome that he made it, because obviously he's a dog, but he just represents, I feel like, what Southeast Ohio is all about.
Oh, he
man.
still goes to Chillicothe Country Club.
Yeah, exactly.
740 kid at heart.
Yeah, but guys, so going back to the league this year, I want to get your guys' takes. I know this is going to be like super out of left field, but I think Paint Valley wins the league this year. What are your thoughts on this?
After watching hoops, you know,
It's
watching
hard,
this
man.
huddle,
He's a dog.
You know,
He's a dog. But if I said that they would win the league, I might get
yeah,
burned to the stake
yeah, I
in the
feel
middle
that.
of Bainbridge.
I don't know. I'd like to see a little bit more on Piketon, a little bit more on Zane Trace
Yeah.
before I say anything like that. You know, but yeah, it's hard not to root for.
And
either
it
of
sounds
them,
like
you know?
Piketon, like we've heard from Barack before, is
Yeah.
not just a dark horse, but now it sounds like they got some steam rolling ahead. They
Yeah,
got some confidence.
Even Shane said, you know, they were a team to look out for. you know,
Exactly.
it's just again, they're just 2-3 wins away from being up there. You know,
Exactly.
Last year, they really had some flashes where the whole team just kind of looked like they
Yeah,
was getting it together.
and for-
That's who I was going to go with.
Yeah, and
Honestly, I'd love to say Adina, and I think they're going to bounce back.
Right.
But I think Piketon's going to take
And
over.
to piggyback what you said, it did look like Piketon. They had some shocking wins last year, and then they go and drop one to a team that they probably shouldn't have. You know what I mean?
I'd like to see Huntington, you know, maybe possibly get up there.
Yeah,
You know,
I
it looks
think
like
they-
they're on the upturn. Hopefully, they get a couple more wins. Maybe not win it this year, but maybe be, you know, fourth.
Be fourth,
Yeah.
third, something like
Yeah.
that. Which, I mean, Huntington, man, they have a home field advantage of you're going there, you're playing in absolute mud. There's zero grass, like the mud to grass ratios.
That's how Vinton County's field is. It's a grass field, and it's just when it rains, it gets swampy.
It's
Federal
90-10
Hawking's like
mud.
that.
Yeah.
Federal Hawking, they're kind of like everything just kind of runs down into the field, and it is an absolute mud pit.
Now, Pay Valley got turf. Zane Trace got turf. Chillicothe has turf. I love the way turf looks. It's amazing.
Don't love the
I
way
got to
it
be a
feels.
grass guy.
Yeah.
Got to be a
There's
grass
something
guy.
about if you have a solid grass field, like I know a couple people.
Pay Valley did, man.
Yeah.
Pay Valley,
It was a
Pay
nice
Valley when you
field.
got tackled, it felt like you were just falling on a pillow because Coach Holland just absolutely looked at the janitors and said, "Football season, this is your number one priority." You know what I mean? Like that has to be. And to their credit, every single Friday, man, it looked beautiful. I mean, obviously you got Copper's Mountain right there, but the grass was just perfect. You know what I mean? It wasn't too short, but it wasn't so tall that it's like tripping you. It was just perfect. But sorry, what were you saying?
As in Vinton County, they have a real nice grass field, but they've been playing there for quite a while now.
Yeah.
So you got right, especially around midfield, you got a little bit of roughness and stuff like that. But other than that, it's pretty nice.
Uniota
grass
has
field,
that
blacktop
rare,
too, so
that like LSU grass. I don't know what that's called, but like where it completely dies in the off season, and then it grows back really, really short and like really, really fine, almost like
it's
turf
like
looking.
perfect.
Yeah.
It's really, really nice. It's kind of crazy they can keep that up here in Ohio. I thought.
Yeah.
But guys, keeping things up. This guy keeps you up with everything, not just SVC, not just FAC, pretty much anything in Southeast Ohio. He is the co-founder of SOSA, the Southern Ohio Sports Authority. He is a diehard Red fans, diehard rider. He will let you know what's going on. Brock Netter! Brock, what's going on, my friend?
Not a whole lot, man. Not a whole lot. I appreciate you guys, having me back on the show. And, these entrances, week after week, they keep getting better and better.
Yeah. Hey, we try.
I mean, hey, shout out to you.
Hey, we got claps.
Appreciate it.
There we go. Brock, so the first thing I really want to ask you see Ellie last night? Stealing second, stealing third, and then stealing home. Well, Electric.
Man, it's honestly, this is one of the most exciting baseball players I've ever seen, and it's very rare that I throw that out because obviously everyone in the major leagues, they're outstanding players.
Yeah.
But there are some guys who just take it to another level, and just their level of enthusiasm for the game. It also helps, what team they're playing for.
Right.
The more a team is in the headlines and whatnot, the more you're kind of going to put a spotlight on them.
Right.
And I mean, he already had a little bit of a spotlight just coming into the majors. But what he has done, just through, I believe today will be his 30th MLB game.
It's crazy to think. He's only played 30 MLB games. He's done all this.
Yeah, 30 MLB games. I just read something just a little bit ago. He's like the first player in some odd time to have 40 hits and 15 stolen bases in his first 30 games.
Oh my god!
So he just keeps setting record after record after record.
Right.
And honestly, it's to the point where you're asking yourself, what else can he accomplish just this season?
And speaking of him coming up, Adam actually got to watch him play for the Louisville Bats.
Oh no! Unfortunately, I missed it. I literally missed the game, and the tickets that I had, the people told me as soon as they touched the seat, they watched him steal home, and they got to see Joey Votto as well. It was the last time Joey Votto was down there.
Well, so Adam got mistakenly sad.
Yeah, I was really upset I couldn't go.
Brock, kind of pivoting from dogs to our local dogs like we did last time. We just got done talking with Newt Hoops. Can you talk? Obviously, he's not going to brag on himself. We try to get him to, but he's a good, humble kid. How does he come back from an injury and then break the school season passing touchdowns and single game in the same game? I mean, that's electric.
It comes down to a lot of trust, and I mean, I know it's much easier said than done, even though considering his dad is the head coach, but nonetheless, even though you're put in that position, it doesn't mean that you have the full trust to run the offense, to understand the offense, to break down the defense, to understand where you need to go. But Newton puts in so much work to be the player he is and the player that he wants to be. I mean, even just last year, after he was named D4 District Player of the Year, his dad actually sent me a video, allowing Newton to see that he was named Player of the Year, and he was shocked himself.
Wow.
But he put in so much work. He had great talent around him, but talent only works if there's someone to get you the ball.
Right.
And
talking about that talent, they lose a lot of talent this year, right? But are they also gaining talent as well?
Yeah, losing Maddox Fox alone,
Yeah.
is a huge blow.
Almost
it's the best
1,000-yard
receiver
receiver.
That's it.
in Unioda history. Yeah,
Yeah.
so he owns like 3 or 4 school records. I believe
Oh.
career receptions,
Oh, he had 40 just in his
most
senior
receiving
year.
yards,
Yeah.
touchdowns as well.
Now,
Just losing him, losing that safety blanket, that hurts. But at the same time, he knows his guys, so
yeah.
I don't think there's going to be too much of a drop off,
Right.
but there will be some lack of production
And with
just
him
not having.
breaking touchdown passing records,
Mhm.
this is just me not really getting to watch them a whole lot last year. Are they more of a passing team, or do they kind of hit you in the run game as well with a balance attack, or are they actually running a whole lot? But Newt, when he passes, he's just making good decisions.
No, last year they had a great mix of both.
Okay.
I
Having the
say
ability to
Griffin had
throw the ball
almost
down the
1,000 yards
field.
on the ground.
Yeah, exactly. And Matt Griffin, just being their bell cow, just toting the ball a lot, offensively and defensively. So, last year was their year. It was
Yeah.
it was it was the best year they've had, in school history, setting all types of records, breaking a bunch of school records. Even though a lot of those guys are gone, they're still going to be a team to watch out for because of Newton Hoops.
Were you at that Union Zane Trace game last year?
I
How was
wasn't
that?
supposed to be. Uh, yeah, I was actually supposed to be, covering another game, but I decided to roll the dice, and I said I can't miss this Union Zane Trace game, and
Yeah.
it was incredible.
It looks like it came down to the last play, right? Can you kind of walk us through
Yeah,
that last play?
it was completely down to the last play. If you know that they had the ball on, I think their own 48 or something like that, and threw a Hail Mary, and it reached the end zone, and Zane Trace, they just made a play on it, knocked the
Yeah.
ball down, and that was it. 35-31, went on to win the gold ball from there. But
And that's kind of awesome for a
it was a
game of
sensational
that
game.
magnitude to end in such a poetically justice way. You know what I mean? It's not
Mhm.
just, they lose by 2 touchdowns and stuff like that. It's like, no, it literally came down to the last play for
Yeah.
the 2 best teams in the conference.
Mhm.
And kind of get from one football to another football, soccer this year.
Mhm.
We're trying to follow it a little bit more. I'm not gonna lie. I went to Pay Valley. We didn't even have a soccer team, but from kind of following it from afar, it looks like Unioda, non-surprisingly, is kind of a powerhouse in soccer as well. The
Mhm.
Zane Trace though, are they pretty up there? And I know Chillicothe's been very very good at soccer in the past. Can you kind
Mhm.
of fill us in on what we should be looking for this soccer season,
Oh
boys and
yeah,
girls?
uh, okay, so on the boy side, within the area, yeah, it is Uniota's territory, to kind of control. They've had the same core of guys for the last 2 or 3 years. Obviously some guys are gone, due to graduation, but you still have Lucas Haynes, who has been an All Ohio player ever since he stepped foot on the soccer pitch. River Pettigrew, Cameron Thompson as well. These guys, they just know soccer. They're experienced. Like, keep in mind, just 2 seasons ago, Uniota, they were in a Final Four. They were playing in a state semifinal,
Oh, I did not know that.
and
Dogs.
yeah, yeah, just 2 seasons ago, and their top 3 players are back. A couple of defenders are back as well. They fell short of their goal last year. Getting ousted, in a district semifinal, but a lot of those guys, they're seniors. They understand that this is their last go around. This is their last chance to get back to that plateau that they were at 2 seasons ago, and there's a good chance that they can make that happen this year.
That's insane because I did not know they went to the Final Four. They must have had some dogs. Did they have anybody go to college or anything?
Um, n- not Not that I can think of off the top of my head. I know.
Okay.
I'm sure that Lucas and River, they're two senior captains
Right.
that are returning this year. I'm sure they have some offers, but I don't. As far as I know, they haven't announced anything. They haven't said
Okay.
anything about where they're going to school. But there's definitely going to be some team that's very happy to have either one of those guys because
I
they
would
just
say.
have a knack for just making the right play, for putting the ball in the back of the net, and I mean they're both really good kids as well.
And then on the girl side,
On the girls' side, it's Uniota's game as well.
yeah.
So, I mean, Uniota they were in a district final last year, and here's the crazy thing. So they were in a district final. It was against Fairfield Union last season, and their goalie, I can't remember if she was injured or if she was sick, but she didn't play in that game. That was a 2-year starter.
Oh
They
wow.
threw a freshman goalie in there. She came up with 29 saves.
Oh,
Oh.
dog.
That's ridiculous. to
Wow.
think about. Yeah, came up with 29 saves in that game.
As a
And
freshman.
Unionta lost. Yeah, Unionta lost 1-0 in double overtime on a free kick that just skimmed right over her head, right into the back of the net.
That's
ridiculous.
legendary status there. That
Dog.
I honestly, I'm sitting here. I cannot comprehend as a freshman going in there as a goalie. 29 saves into a double
Withstanding
overtime
that
game and only
pressure.
losing
Yeah.
1-0.
In a huge moment.
Yeah.
Obviously the biggest moment
Yeah.
of her. Of
Exactly.
Of her
It
high
just,
school
it
career
just
right now.
show up and show
Exactly.
out, man.
Yeah.
That is wow.
Yeah.
Exactly. You
That is
talk about being ready for the
mind-blowing.
moment. Man,
That-
There's still no regular time goals
She
given.
was
up.
unreal
No.
that night.
Ice in the veins, man. Jeez Louise. God dang. I don't even want to go off of that. I mean, I know we have to. Going into volleyball, I know you said Uniota is your pick for the season. How are you kind of looking for the play out of the season? I mean, obviously, Adina, you have to keep your eye on with Laura Smith. And I think Coach Combs last week told us that Huntington, I mean, they're still kind of coming back strong. What do you kind of expect for the season coming this year? A little few things we can look for going into the season.
I mean, you always have to be aware of Adina. I mean,
Always.
they are a volleyball school. I don't care what anyone else tells you. They are a volleyball school because Laura Smith has
Yeah.
made them
Legendary.
a volleyball school. Exactly. So I believe I think this is year 35 for her. I think so.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think
maybe
Andy
even
dubbed her the
more.
Bill
Maybe even
Belichick
more. It might be
of-
might be
Oh.
36, 37, somewhere up there. But I mean, just what she has turned Adina into is stunning.
Patriots-esque.
Adina, yeah, Adina volleyball it's like Wheelersburg softball. The only
Yeah,
difference is
Right.
Yeah.
the
Speaking of
only
that,
difference is
comparison would be
Adina just
something else.
hasn't won a state title recently. That's
Yeah.
literally.
But
the
they've been
only
going to
difference.
Final
They're both-
Fours almost every other year, right?
Exactly.
Because I think,
exactly. So
was it
they're-
last year or a couple of years ago that them in Westfall, 2 SVC teams are playing to go to
Yeah.
either the Elite Eight or the Final Four. I can't remember which one
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. Adina and Westfall. Yeah, they met. Two seasons ago. It was in a regional final, and Adina swept
wild.
them, went went on to the Final Four. So
That's insane. Because we were talking a
big
couple
time.
Yeah.
of weeks ago about having to beat a team for a third time, like in the playoffs and in basketball and stuff like that. So imagine Westfall being like, "Hey, we finally made it to Elite Eight. Here you playing? Oh, Adina, that we can't. All
Adina
right,
we lost
you know what I
early
mean?
this
It's
season.
like, jeez, man.
yeah.
But we were talking with Shane Combs last week, man. It just seems like the SVC beat up on each other through the regular season and then just make a run in the postseason.
Well, I mean that's what it is. Pretty much every season. So here's the thing. The SVC. I want to make sure I have this right. 6 of the 8 teams, they're all Division 3. They are all Division 3. So therefore, while yes, they're beating up upon each other in the regular season,
They have to beat
it
up
also,
each other.
you're also just getting better and better every single game.
Yeah.
And you know that and they know that they're going to run into each other again, most likely in a district semifinal,
Mhm.
a district final, or somewhere in regionals. They know it automatically. the SVC is undoubtedly, to me, the best volleyball conference in all of Southern Ohio.
Oh,
I don't
has
think
to
it's
be.
close.
Has to be.
There's so much talent. There's so much depth, and every single year there's always two teams who either make a district final, win a district final, and find themselves in regionals and potentially even at the state level as well. It happens every single year, and quite frankly, even though you notice D2, which is a little bit tougher, quite frankly, this could be the year they do that.
Yeah.
It's very possible.
And just coming from a Payne Valley fan, as a high schooler, I didn't get it. After I graduated high school, I got it. They have some struggles in the league play, right? But the past couple of years, man, that league play, like you said, just makes them better, makes them stronger, more prepared. Then they go into, because I think they're D4. They go to the D4 tournament, and then I think they've won a sectional title. I think 2 years out of the last 3 or 4, or at least one. So that just kind of showed me that the bottom feeders of the league are still going into their tournament and making a run, being significant with it.
Exactly. It's literally just iron sharpening iron.
You think that's because the SVC
in volleyball confines.
You think that's
What
because
is
the
it?
SVC, that little SVC
I mean,
league?
that definitely helps. That definitely helps.
They're pretty much playing year round.
Having that club team,
Yeah.
it most definitely helps. But the SEC, it's just a different level when it comes to volleyball. It's the most exciting league in volleyball.
Oh, it is. Go to a Adina Zane Trace volleyball match, man, and Adina Huntington. You're not going to want to sit down almost the entire time. I mean, it's insane. Brock, this is the Ride the Wave show. Before we get you out of here, we did see that you guys released your all-area baseball and softball teams, right?
Yeah.
First, if you, we'll put a link for that in our comment section. But I want to ask you guys, that has to be hard to do, to see all these players and have to narrow it down to just that many. Can you kind of walk us through the steps and like what you and Derek are kind of doing to name those teams?
Okay, so Derek takes softball and I'll take baseball.
Okay.
And this is going to be a little long winded, so just kind of just bear with me. I'll take you through my process.
Take us on a ride.
So, so the one thing that helps me is actually helps us both, is that the All Ohio list, it'll come out before the season is over. Typically it comes out right about when baseball's at regionals. So that's usually when that list is released. So therefore we're just going through seeing, okay, which kids made All Ohio. Like, okay, that's easy. Typically if you make All Ohio, you're going to be put on the all area list. So for this year, when it came to baseball, I believe there were 21 kids within our coverage area that made All Ohio. So automatically those 21 they went on.
Yeah, makes
sense. So therefore after that, it's okay, who was conference player of the year? They'll get on, because typically if you're going to be conference player of the year, you're also going to be first team all district. So therefore you're like, okay. Next, it comes down to team success. How far did your team go?
That makes sense. I'm glad you guys put that in, because I think that has to be in there. So yeah, I like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So Courthouse, they made the Final Four. They had five kids who made all area. 3 on first team, 2 on honorable mention. White Oak, who made a regional final, they had 5 kids on. Four of them made the first team all area list. 1 kid on honorable mention. So team success, it has a lot to do with it. If you're player of the year, you're gonna get on as well. Usually that takes up about 26 or 27 spots. Getting those other 8 is so hard. It is incredibly hard. You're going through stats. You're going through team success. It literally comes down to just splitting hairs. But best way I can put it. I'm not gonna say any names or anything like
Oh
that.
yeah, no, yeah,
But
you're fine.
yeah,
You gotta go read the
but-
article to see the
but-
names.
exactly. There was one final debate that I had for kind of like the last and final spot of who I was going
Right.
to put on all area. It came down to a kid who hit 417. He had 12 doubles. He had 2 or 3 home runs, 30 runs scored, and like 29 RBIs.
Oh,
Just
God.
ridiculous
Yeah,
numbers.
gotta put him. Yeah.
Yeah, but then on the other hand, it came down to another kid who hit 404 with 10 doubles, had like 32 runs scored and like 19 RBIs. So it's literally splitting hairs. And exactly, there's so much talent.
Yeah.
And because we expanded to now covering 78 teams, it makes the list even that much harder.
Good problem to have, I guess.
So it's
Good
literally
good athletes to cover.
exactly. Yeah. So it's literally just a splitting hairs process. And I mean for those who don't make the first team all area, typically you're going to make honorable mention, and even honorable mention sometimes that's hard as well.
Right.
So it's a long process. It's a grueling process. You're reaching out to kids just to get like their final stats and whatnot.
Yeah.
You're going through game changer after game changer. You're going back through the brackets from this year to see where their team went, how did they do. You're sifting through individual games, like what was their best game. It is a long process.
Yeah.
And it doesn't get any easier every year, but it's a lot of fun to do.
Well, man, and you guys doing that, having the all-star games that you guys have, I mean, I'm just really speaking for the community here. We appreciate the hell out of you guys for doing that kind of stuff. It's awesome to read. It's awesome to watch. It's awesome to see the kids get to experience that kind of stuff while being in high school. So we just want to say thank you guys for doing that kind of stuff. It's awesome because I could not do that. That is not me.
There's oftentimes that I don't think I can do it either, and then I'm like, all right, we're gonna figure this out somehow.
Right, we'll figure out.
And somehow it doesn't turn out to be a total catastrophe.
Brock, before we get you out of here, this is the Ride the Wave show. We do great journalism here. We ask the tough questions that no one else is willing to ask.
Most important.
Right.
It is a Saturday. It is Ohio State, Michigan. You are finally getting your first tailgate plate. You get a main dish, you get 2 sides, and you get a drink. What are you picking, my friend?
Depression.
Oh, okay. Is it already like set for me? What's at the table?
You have a plate, and when
Okay.
you think it goes on.
Okay. Oh man, that's hard. And I can load this plate up as much as I need to. Is it just one plate? Am I going back
One
to seconds?
plate, you
What
get
we
a
doing?
main course like a burger, a hot dog, something like that. You get 2 sides, and then you get a drink. Hoops went with a Chick-fil-A sandwich, potato chips, and a water. So
Newton is weird.
he did say it was weird. He did
Wow.
say it was weird.
Oh my god! Really? Of all the things that he could have gotten, chips and Chick-fil-A. Good.
I was here for the Chick-fil-A. I was not here for the chips.
It's not that I'm not here for the Chick-fil-A, but if we're going to a tailgate, I don't want to buy something. I
Okay.
want what's there.
Okay, so what you get?
Okay, so all right. If I can think it, put it on the plate. So I'm going with the cheeseburger.
All right.
Yeah, give me a cheeseburger, give me some lettuce, a little pickle.
Yeah.
Probably some mustard on there as well.
All right.
Do that. For my sides, man, you gotta have chicken wings. You gotta.
All right,
have
there we
chicken
go.
wings.
Yes.
You
yes.
gotta have chicken wings. My other side. Wow. I would either go with mac and cheese.
Oh yes.
Because you never know.
Yes.
It's America's side dish.
It is.
Mac and cheese or meatballs. One of those. Two.
Okay.
The meatballs.
What are you getting for your drink?
And for my drink, it's not a tailgate if you ain't got a beer.
There you go.
Tailgate. Come on now.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on.
Exactly.
I can hydrate when I'm in the stadium. I can hydrate. I can make sure I'm still. I can make sure I'm still fully functional, for the game. But I mean, if it's a tailgate, we're tossing it back, boys.
Yes, we are. We were kicking back, relaxing, and getting ready to have some good time. Brock, It was absolutely awesome having you on. Like we said in the past, you are now our inside source. You will be on a lot more. Thank you again for what you and Sosa do, man. Brock Netter.
Appreciate you guys having me. I look forward to coming back.
Hell yeah. We'll see you, man.
You got it. Take care, guys.
Take care. All right, guys. Another electric interview. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back here in just a few minutes with some Dylan Swingle and our tailgating plates as a draft. Welcome back in here to the Ride the Wave podcast. Like I said earlier, I am Clay. This is my right-hand man, Adam. One of my best friends, Andy. And we got a special guest on the show, Dave Shoemaker.
Legend.
Coach, how's it going?
Coach?
Going great.
Having a good Sunday?
Yeah.
All righty. So, Coach, I just want to ask you, you are the most winningest coach in Paint Valley history, right? I would say that a guy that we're going to have on here in a little bit would be a big part of that.
Yes, for sure.
Big part. What makes you love Paint Valley so much? I know you went there as a high school player. Can you kind of talk about it?
I can barely hear you.
You can?
By the way.
Adam, Derek, can you turn us up in his headset?
Sorry.
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me all right?
This is why we don't go live yet. Can you hear me now, Coach? Hear me now.
Probably could have did this on the break. That's our fault.
Yeah. This is great.
That's a little better.
You can hear me now?
I can hear my voice better than yours.
Yeah. Keep on, keep it on. We can edit this out of the show.
I'm fine.
When I say, Coach, you do have a radio voice.
Yeah.
Why Paint Valley? When I was like 8 years old, my dad started taking me to games at our gym.
Mm-hmm.
Fell in love with the place. I'd sit right in the middle, watch all the games, watch those great Paint Valley teams from the 60s. Love that gym. Still love it. Still think it's the best gym in the area. But
you've left and come back too, right?
What's that?
You've left and come back.
Yeah, I coached there for 1 year, and then I went to Greenfield McLean for 5 years. Then I came back, coached JVs for 1 year, then coached varsity for 7. Then they asked me to come back in 2012.
And that's how you got me to come back, because you were coming back. Open gyms. Well, Shu, our next guest, like I said, is going to be some guy that he might have helped you win a few games over there. He is not only the SVC scoring leader, but also the county scoring leader with 1,796 points. Most rebounds in PV history with 1,160. Was ranked the number 3 center in Ohio. All the centers in Ohio, the 3rd best. 10th best player in Ohio. Out of all the players in Ohio, number 10. 2-time SVC Player of the Year, Dylan Swingle. Dylan, what's up, my man?
How's it going, man?
Oh, dude. Hey,
Good. How are you doing?
We're chilling here with your best friend, Shu. I know he definitely made you lose a few pounds in those conditionings, but we know you still love him. It's okay.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
How's your Sunday going, man? I saw you were on a boat the other day living that lavish lifestyle.
It's good, yeah. Just chilling with some friends while they're back in town. And, yeah, nothing so far this morning. Just made some breakfast. I'm sitting here.
Heck yeah. I'm sure you're a, 7-plate breakfast kind of guy.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, man, so I saw that you're doing some stuff at AP Prep, like some workouts and stuff like that for some younger basketball players. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so I started about 2 months ago, just doing basketball skill training and stuff. We do 3rd through 5th grade groups and then junior high groups as well as high school. And a lot of the workouts are things that I did in college. So it's stuff that has been proven, to help athletes at that level. And I feel like it could definitely help a bunch of kids at that level. I've already seen tremendous improvement in a lot of the kids, especially ones who have stuck with it and been consistent. Their growth the past 2 months has really, really been great.
How many days a week are you doing that again?
Sunday and Tuesday. So I actually have my first group here in about 4 hours.
Oh,
so
awesome.
We'll be 3:45 until about 8-ish today. So
Oh, and that's over
Yeah,
at
it'll be
AP
good.
Prep, right?
Yep, over an AP Prep. Yeah, there's a gym in the back portion of it, and
Nice.
I just do my own thing in there. And they've also got performance training for athletes that age. They got boxing conditioning for all ages. Then they have lineman training as well.
Oh,
With Dalton Thomason, who is doing kind of the same thing I am, but with football. So
yeah. I
that's
think
been going
Corey
well.
was telling us about taking Paint Valley's team over there and doing some kind of stuff while they were doing like the field house repairs and stuff. I think they were going over there.
That'd be
using the gym to
huge.
Get some nice workout in. Speaking of you getting
That's
some
awesome.
college stuff like that. We did have some clips of you absolutely dominating in college at Bowling Green. I think this first clip, you decided to do a reverse layup on the kid. And then, yeah, look at that. Just
Look
like,
at
yeah,
the finish.
up and under. I wonder who taught you that one. And then comes down here, just go
This is
play
my
some
favorite
defense.
part.
Yeah, you boxed the kid into the first row. The game just started, Dylan.
Blindsided.
Jeez Louise, he's going to put a restraining order on you. And oh, dude, I love this right here. Turn,
Put
throw
it down.
All right, Shaq. Here we go. And then, where's this at? Is this almost looks like Matt. Look at that jump
Oh.
hook.
This
What
is
about
in
you think about
the
that,
this is in
Coach?
the
No
Virgin
big deal.
Islands
Virgin Islands, nice. Here we go
Yeah.
again.
tournament down
Dylan,
there.
backing him down. Nice little move. Oh, what are we going to do
This
here?
is
Probably your
little hook.
precious jump
Oh.
hook.
Yeah,
Look
nice
at
little
that.
jump hook there.
Look at that. So I
think
know
it was
who
deep.
taught you that. I know it was Shu. Can you kind of elaborate on your jump hook? Oh, Grubby the Dylan.
Put it
down. There we go. Oh, my gosh. Absolute monster. And look at that beautiful gym, by the way, I would say. 2, 3, 4 people. 4 people.
No.
Fourth it down. Oh, my God. Look at this.
This is my favorite.
Boom.
That's
There
my
we
favorite.
go.
Five more it gets to.
McLean throwing it. Dot. There we go. Man, you're
Just
just
so not fair.
absolutely destroyed. Oh, dude, I remember this one.
R.I.P. to these rims.
Yeah, look, watch the student section behind this.
They're
Oh my God, the away student section is getting. Look at this putback. Oh my God.
The sectional
Down
final.
down the. This is against Oak Hill. Down the convo. Get off me. Good.
There wasn't one kid over 5 foot. It looked like.
Oh my
A
God.
great pass by Bryce.
It was. Dylan, can you kind of
That was
talk us
beautiful.
about first I know the creator of your jump hook. I'm not going to lie about it. He's sitting right here. Can you talk about how great that jump hook has just been for your game? I mean, you can do a jump hook from the free throw line like a normal jumper. I mean, can you just elaborate
Yeah,
on that?
that clip against Buffalo, that was I don't know if you guys saw, that was actually with my left.
Oh,
So yeah,
yeah.
I'm
He's a
right
righty.
here. That
Big
was from
deal.
the logo with my left.
Jeez.
But yeah, ever since me and Coach Shu started working out together, back before junior high even started, just the first thing he just taught me was you got to just master the jump hook, and that's been my go-to move, whether I'm going right or with my left. I'll go up into my jump hook. If they take that away, I'll just spin back, jump
And
hook
dunk
with the
on
other
their ass.
hand. So it's really
I'll never
unstoppable.
forget
Exactly.
the first time he shot one. It was like an old timey,
Yeah.
wind up. But then once he learned to just use your wrist,
Yeah.
then it was over.
And I've personally been on the receiving end of a lot of assists because
Yeah.
of that jump hook, so I appreciate it as well.
Well, he had a great touch from the beginning.
Yeah.
When he was a little kid, it was just
I
natural.
remember he did
I
have a
had
good
nothing
jumper.
to do with that touch. He
Yeah.
just had it.
Yeah. But yeah, Dylan, like your jump hook's great, and your footwork for a big man.
Oh yeah, footwork was phenomenal. That was something that I noticed watching the tape was just a phenomenal footwork. Like you didn't see it so much in high school because you're just too busy dunking on everybody. But watching those college highlights, you definitely see that footwork coming in, and it's like, oh, he has the footwork too. He just didn't have to use it before.
And how
Right,
did you
right.
get such good footwork, man? Because I know you didn't really play football a whole lot.
A lot of it was just reps, just post work, a lot of agility training. I trained, actually go back to AP. I trained there in high school and all throughout college, and they did a bunch of footwork stuff
nice.
there. So a mixture of just a bunch of reps in the gym, and then footwork stuff like that.
What's your
All of
favorite?
it kind of
What's your favorite
helped
footwork
come
drill?
together. My favorite drill, I'd say the ladder drill isn't my favorite, but it definitely works.
Okay.
Just with that foot speed and stuff like that. But yeah, it's
I am sadly
Yeah,
disappointed
definitely my
that you
favorite.
didn't say the mic and drill.
that
my
basketball drill is my favorite. Classic. Not broke, don't fix it.
That's
right.
I'll never, I'll never forget as a freshman whenever you're just absolutely dominating people. Dylan was kind of like, "Hey, like I know I'm good, but I'm a freshman." So every single time that he'd do something good, I was the guy who'd be like, "Yeah, you can't stop that." I remember there was 0 points, 2 rebounds, maybe like 4 assists.
All to him.
Yeah. So I'm like, Dylan, don't worry, I'll be your hype man. That's what I was good at, was just being the hype man.
Something I wanted to ask you
I
is
appreciated that.
how's it different playing in the convo now that you're playing, in the collegiate level as opposed to just playing there at sectionals?
Oh man, that's a good question. The first time I played there, my first year at Bowling Green, like it felt surreal because like that's like the place in high school where it's like we get to the convo, like like
Full circle.
we've almost made it to it's to the point we want to get to, and just being there like in the same setting, I still got the same feelings I did in high school. I just like I felt like I played some of my best games in the combo too, and I
Oh,
played
you
in
did.
Yeah, a
college
little
as well.
comfortable
So
in there.
I was
He,
used to it, and yeah, it was definitely
he won't
comfortable.
he won't say this, but OU, when he left Duquesne, OU wasn't interested. I called Coach Bowles, and we don't have a spot for him. So Dylan scored 17 points on him the first time he played.
He's like, "Oh, you don't want this?" Okay.
Yeah.
Man.
So what have you noticed in college? Like we talk about how the SVC is just different. Can you speak to that? Like, what do you think makes it just different compared to anywhere around here?
Well, definitely just consistent size throughout each position. You got 6'5", 6'6" wings. You got big dudes as big as me. But the biggest thing is the pace of play. It's very fast, and that'll be increase at each level, like each level throughout college, and obviously the NBA pace of play is even faster. And that was the hardest thing to try to like get used to and prepare myself, especially my freshman year at Duquesne. I redshirted my freshman year, and I really got like accustomed to it, and it definitely helped prepare me for Bowling Green. But yeah, pace of play is huge for sure.
What made you pick Bowling Green when you went in the transfer portal? Because I think Jake Kretzer, he was on the staff over at Duquesne, right? So that he probably kind of helped you go over there a little bit. Obviously, you decided you wanted to go do something else. You decided to transfer, go to Bowling Green. I know she said that Ohio didn't offer you anything, but there's no way Bowling Green was the only one saying, "Hey, we'll take a 7-foot absolute dog on our team." So, what made you pick Bowling Green?
I had 3 or 4 D1s reach out after I left Duquesne. And, like, obviously a guy redshirting freshman year doesn't have quite as many eyes on him.
Mm-hmm.
So that definitely hurt my stock transferring. But I knew I wanted to leave Duquesne, so it really didn't matter to me at that point.
Yeah.
But Bowling Green recruited me before.
Yeah, I remember.
I
their
believe
coaches
Akron
being
was
in
the first
stands.
college to offer me, or besides West Virginia, Akron was the next college to offer me, and then Bowling Green was next. And I developed a good relationship with their assistant coaches and their head coach, Coach Summy, Coach Noon, Coach Stacy, and Coach Huger. I never actually visited Bowling Green because I committed to Duquesne so early. So I kind of like feel like in high school I really had my mindset of wanting to play there and play for Coach D. And then afterwards they called Coach Stacy called Coach Shu. It was just like they were interested. They wanted me, and I went on a visit, and I was like, man, I should have picked this place first. Like this place is beautiful. The campus is beautiful. The facilities are awesome. The coaches were great. Can't speak highly enough about them. But yeah, it was definitely a great decision for me picking Bowling Green out of Duquesne.
I mean, I know. So Bowling Green was awesome, is what you guys think. Ain't nothing like Paint Valley, though. I mean, can you speak? Can you speak about the Paint Valley community? Because, like I've said before, I had you, Mason McCloy, Clay Stratton, and Anthony McFadden in my starting lineup. So there's no reason for me to shoot, and Shu made that very clear to me. So I decided I was just going to be an assist machine and understood my role and everything like that, and play defense. I mean, lockdown defense. I even can lock you down. Don't make me try and test it. But whenever I would go to check into the games, the crowd would actually get hyped for me just because they knew I was going to go in there and do the dirty work. They get hyped for you because you're you. You know what I mean? Can you just speak on Cole said the community of Paint Valley is amazing. I say, I mean, there's just something about that community. Can you just elaborate on that a little bit? What it was like playing for Paint Valley?
Just everyone was so close, and I feel like a lot of times with places, people don't like to see each other
Yeah.
succeed and maybe jealousy. But Paint Valley, we all loved one another no matter, how good, how bad you may have played. Also the size of it. We're the smallest school in the conference, so everyone knows each other. I knew everyone in my graduating class's name, probably
Yeah.
like 3 or 4 grade levels down too. Still, I'll see people I didn't even really talk to in high school, and I'll say what's up to them, and make sure I stop and say hey, just because it's that Paint Valley community thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was definitely a great thing we had there, and still have there. Paint Valley community is great.
Yeah. And just to stay on the Paint Valley success, I'm just going to talk about me and you. We got to play 1 year together. I wish it was a lot more. We would have done a lot more success. But I feel like a reason that you're good, and I'm not going to lie, I think it's because me, Mason McCloy, and Stratton just used to beat the crap out of you in your 7th and 8th grade. But I feel like we had a swagger going into every single game. We didn't enter a single game that we thought we were going to lose. And to harp on that mentality a lot, we go up against my senior year, Peebles, ranked number 2 in the state, 19-0. Me, Shu, Dylan, Mason, Clay, and Trevor, old Trevor Medley. We hop in the van, we go down and watch Peebles play. I think it was Manchester. Is that who it was, Shu?
I can't
They
remember.
played,
I know it was on a
Lynchburg
Tuesday,
play.
Yeah,
and
it
we
was
played them on Saturday.
Yeah, so we all hop in Shu's Jeep, drive down there. Peebles is winning by 40 points. They have this kid, I don't know if you've heard of him, Bo Justice. He's an absolute animal shooting the basket. And we left that gym with them up 40 points, and we all looked at each other like, we're not losing this game. We're going to beat these guys. And I'll never forget, before we left, Shu's giving us this little speech before we go. They had their little league there, their veterans there, blah, 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 blah. He said that they're having a big party, and we're going down there, we're going to kick their ass. And we ended up winning 7-6, 73 with Dylan being an absolute dog, man. I know you got to remember that game. What's your favorite moment from that game, man? I mean, it's insane. A little school like Paint Valley doing something like that against number 2 ranked Bo Justice. I mean,
my favorite part was definitely hearing their fans and everything afterwards. That was
they threatened me with death.
They were hurt for sure. But
they looked at me and
they
Stratton
threatened
and
everybody.
pointed at us and went, done.
They had beef with us for years after that. I don't know if Coach
I was on the
talked
coaching staff where they threw out
game
half the
2 years
stand.
ago.
Yeah.
Good Lord. Yeah, they were still hurt about that. But yeah, definitely the fans. I love that energy and stuff. Away games are the best because you got fans cussing at you and want to see you do horrible. And then once you beat them and you do good, it's they say nothing. It's
exactly.
It's in there.
I remember though.
That was the best part.
You're right about their fans. They were threatening our players and everything. But I'll never forget when we were dressed and leaving out in the lobby, there were 5 or 6 of these old-timer guys from Peebles, and they all shook my hand and said, you guys played the way you had to play to beat us.
Right.
And they respected it because they'd been watching basketball for 50 years.
You came up with came up with this a little bit, but you finally were the one coach that year that they said, it's we're going to face guard Bo. Every other team was like, hey, we're going to let Bo get his. Yeah. You decided to put me, dog, and Trevor, dog, on Bo.
Well, you and Trevor were perfect because you'd muscle guys around and, try to hurt them. And Trevor was more athletic and quick, and he could bother. So you'd rotate on him, and he never got in a rhythm. Exactly. Well, last quarter he did, but
yeah. So I was about to say we had Bo.
You can't dog yourself.
No, so listen, Bo has 6 points, or no, 9 points going.
No, he had 6 at halftime.
9 going into the 4th.
Yeah.
Finished with 30.
Yeah.
Dude, there's a point where I slapped him in the face on a 3, and he made it. Yeah.
He came down the first possession of the game for Peebles, and I'd given him strict instructions. He crosses midcourt, you got to get.
I had to be touching him at all times.
He was 10 feet off of him. Bo was 5 feet inside the half court line, just pulled up
behind the volleyball line.
I just looked at Clay and went,
"Yeah,
you don't get out there, you're coming out."
I said, my bad. I didn't think the first game was going to be like that. But Dylan, you, Shu and you, honest to God, are my class. Yeah, we did some good things, and Anthony's class did some good things. But honest to God, just coming from Paint Valley, and you and Shu completely turned that program back around to what it became, and then what Jason Smith carried on to that legacy. What was it like, man, just turning that around? It looked like you guys I know we had great chemistry. I felt like whenever I was playing with you, you kind of knew where I was trying to go with it, and you could get there. What's it like having chemistry like that? Like you said, you know every single kid in the school, not just in your grade, but the grade below you, 2 grades below you, even the freshmen. What's it like having that chemistry off the court, bringing it onto the court in just a small school and having sustained success?
Oh, it's so fun, just like being able
Yeah.
to play basketball with some of your best friends. But a lot of that chemistry goes down to, I feel like in high school, I was, at times, coach could say this, I was very unselfish, like a little too unselfish
Oh,
to the
yeah.
point where
Yeah,
I'd
definitely.
always be trying to set guys up before I got mine. But yeah, it just all came down to just knowing each other, knowing what everyone's trying to do, like with their game and stuff. And I remember you were a great cutter. Clay Stratton was always in the right spot, and,
Oh,
and
yeah.
Andrew Bronner and Bryce
Yeah.
Newland were 2 other ones who were just always in the right spot. Like I'd get doubled, I'd know exactly where to hit them, and I feel like we all played well off each other.
The year after Dylan's senior year, some of our fans and players realized how much better he made them.
Yeah.
Because when he wasn't there to draw all the attention and kick it to people, and they could just cover some of those guys that man up,
Yeah,
weren't
and that's what
good.
I thought whenever you came in after my junior year. I was our starting power forward my junior year. I am 5'11" on a great day. So I was like, man, we're just one big man away. And then you come in with your 7-foot self, and then you have Mason McCloy on the other end, who I think he was like 6'10". Maybe no, he
No,
was
he's
6'10". He
6'5".
was 6'5". What am I thinking?
6'10".
He played like he was
6'10".
6'10".
He looked like he was 6'10" to Clay.
Yeah, he did.
Real. But you guys have pretty much like the Twin Towers down there. You guys played off each other amazingly. You know what I mean? Because it felt like if you didn't get the rebound, he did. What was it like playing with another big like that in high school? And it's your first season in being introduced to high school with that machine on the other side.
PG legend.
That definitely helped me so much going up against him in practice every day. Like I don't know how many people listen to know who we're talking about, but Mason is a very strong dude, and
Go
he
look
definitely
at
Rebound
Valley
beat me up
history
in the
book.
post.
He averaged
Yeah, he
almost
beat me up in the
19 rebounds a
post.
game his junior year, and he had
Dog.
32 in one game.
Yeah, broke the school record at that point.
I remember taking him aside before the season. I said, you're not going to get 19 rebounds a game this year, right? Because he said, I know. He said, that's fine. And he was cool with it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was,
When I was a freshman, I definitely wasn't as strong as I was later in my high school career. So it was like Mason was being physical down low and like banging dudes up and stuff. And then I was just like, I had that touch. I was kind of there.
You
beside
did,
him
man.
just to
You
get, like,
honestly probably had
yeah.
the best touch for a big man I've seen in a long time. I mean, like Shu said earlier, your feel around the basket was just amazing. And as a freshman, I know you weren't completely to where you are now, but you could see it. You still had it as a freshman. So
When Mason used to just randomly come into the locker room and just beat the hell out of
yeah, I
out of
remember
Dylan.
one time he was sitting on the couch and Mason came in and just jumped on top of him.
Jumping on him.
And you would think
Before a game too.
yeah. And the great thing was, you think what I loved about you, Coach, was normally a coach is like, hey, that's our star player, don't do that. And she's over there like, yeah, make him stronger. It's good for his character.
Something that I wanted to touch on is you guys were talking about always being in the right place at the right time. I feel like that's, credit owed to Shu here, just, teaching you guys, preaching basketball IQ,
Yes.
just having such good basketball
No
IQ
doubt.
to kind of know your teammates, where you're going and everything.
I know I said Coach Combs did, but the first person that really taught me it was Shu was you got to understand your role. Not everybody's the star player. You got to have people like me that's going to go play defense and pass it to fill in for everybody else, Coach, if you want to.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like you said, our fans appreciate the guys who dive on the floor and take charges
the
and show
Grubbs of
emotion.
the world.
As a
And they
Louisville fan,
cheered
we got
for
one of those every year.
They cheered for you as much as they did Dylan or anybody, because they would just go nuts when you take a charge or do something crazy.
And it was so weird because I remember Dylan whenever I was a kid. You know what I mean? Because both of our parents were teachers out there. So, like, I remember the first 3 years I was staying after school, and, like, you kind of get to know all the other after-school kids. Then my, I guess, 4th grade year, there's this, like, 7-foot kindergartner walking around. And I'm like, who is this kid?
I remember I walked
one of the
by the
teachers?
gym, and I was athletic director at the time. And I walked in the gym to talk to Pete or something, and you know how they line up the kids against the wall? It was like 3rd grade. And there was one guy like 3 times as tall as anybody. I said, who the hell is that? said, that's Jody's son.
Hey man, talking about how big you are, you got you got absolutely assaulted in high school, man. I mean, I remember there's pictures and videos of you. I mean, we saw the one dunk. There's 4 guys hanging all over you, and you're still yamming on them. If it was me and you guys, you should know this as well. I've been throwing every game swinging. I mean, I could not have handled that. How did you handle just being basically a jungle gym every single night?
Over time, my tolerance for that definitely decreased for sure. By the time I was a senior, I had a shorter fuse, but I don't know. It's just I can't do anything about it. I just got to control what I can control. I got scars up and down my arms from it. And
I mean, you did do something about it. You dropped 30 on them every night, but okay.
I had an official tell me one time, swear, I'm getting on him. They're hanging on him. They're fouling him. And this official said, Coach, if I called every foul, he'd shoot 80 free throws. I said, if you called it, they'd quit fouling him.
Yeah.
But his size, real quick, like I traveled with Dylan all over the country for AAU and all that stuff. And it's not just on the floor where he gets attention. Like every gas station we would walk into, every restaurant, almost every time they'd all be staring. And usually they go, you play basketball? Or how tall are you? You know, it's constant.
Yeah.
And I never saw him get frustrated or impatient with people. He was unfailingly polite with everybody.
Yeah. And that's when we would go to like away games and stuff.
Yeah.
I made sure to stand behind him because I thought it was fun to watch. Like everybody getting off, and then everybody be like looking at people get off the bus, and then Dylan get off, and they'd be like, "Oh my god."
Yeah. Wilt Chamberlain got tired of people asking him how tall he was, and they'd say things like, "How's the weather up there?" I read his book, and finally, when they'd say, "How's the weather up there?" he'd say, "It's raining," and he'd spit on them.
Yeah, there was I was reading about somebody. They were walking into an elevator, and a guy said that, and it was another 7-footer that he was kind of playing with.
Yeah. But yeah, when we would go to camps, and you know how there's no scouting or anything at camps, you just random teams out at West Virginia. And we'd walk out on the court, and, you know, usually you can kind of tell who you're going to match up with. But we'd walk out with McCloy and Swingle, and they'd be going, who am I going to guard?
I thought, kind of going to how you got through people hanging on you, 2 things I thought helped. 1, me and Mason did absolutely destroying you every day. And 2, we would go to those West Virginia camps, and it was pretty much just playing street ball inside.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally broke my ankle the first game of the camp. Still played, by the way.
He played the whole camp.
Yeah.
With a broken foot.
It was pretty easy whenever my main goal on offense was just pass it to the 7-footer down low. Dylan, I just want to ask you. So you have been part of some great games in the SVC. I can remember your freshman year, my senior year. We're playing Unioda, and we finally, I think we're about to end the streak, and then they start the 4th quarter with Sawyer Lovely, Logan Swackhammer, like 5 guys I hadn't seen the entire game, and they just go running up and down the floor, ran us out of gas. I think your junior year or sophomore or junior year, you almost end the streak again. It seemed like in those games, though, you never were unprepared. You never folded. You, instead of folding under the pressure, you rose to the standard that needed to be done. Can you speak on the mindset that you had going into big games like that? I mean, the Unioda games, you won 3 sectional titles. You played in, I think, 2 district finals or at least 3 district semifinal games. How do you just turn it on in the biggest moments?
Yeah, the first thing that comes to my mind is that senior year game against Unioda. We almost broke that streak.
Yeah.
For Unioda, it's definitely kind of a personal thing. I live in the school district. I live about 4 or 5 minutes away from Unioda. Had some close friends there. So just competing against the guys that I played AAU against was different. And like you said, just rising to the occasion. Just always want to just bring my best self no matter what, control what I can control. And, a lot of my best games were against the best teams, I felt like. And I just wanted to, because I feel like we had something to prove. We're the smallest school in the league. I felt like I was kind of underrated as a player, just by a lot of people. Like, a lot of people didn't think that I had what it took. Everyone thought I was just tall. I felt like I had a lot to prove.
I remember you having to deal with that, too. I remember a lot of people making it very clear to tell you that you were not good, you were just big. And then you made it very clear to tell them, I just dropped 30 on your team. So
Well, I remember the first time, like you guys talking about like seeing him at Paint Valley, right? I went to Adena, so like the first time like I heard about you, right? Everybody said like, oh, he's good, but he's not that good. He's just got size. And then you drop like 30 the first game, and everybody in the stands is like, that guy's just different.
That has to be fueling. That has to just be real fuel to your fire, right? I mean, I did maybe one good thing in high school after people told me I wasn't good, and they were right. But then I did something good, and I made sure to let them know they were wrong that one time. Like, how do you that just has to make you better, right?
I didn't. My problem was, I don't know if it was a problem. I think it was a good thing though. All the good stuff people would say I wouldn't listen to. I listened to all the criticism and stuff, and that's what fueled me every day.
Yeah.
And yeah, that definitely helps. Definitely helped amp my game for sure.
You literally went to 2 colleges. Yeah, I think it would help just a little bit. I gotta ask one thing. Not a lot of people get to experience this. I mean, I think the person that got to experience it before you was Humpty in 2008. You are the leading scorer, and not just the SVC, but the entire county. When you finally break that record, because you knew going into your senior year it was obtainable, you knew it was getting close. It had to start kind of feeling like a monkey on your back. You know what I mean? Just a burden. When you finally break that record, man, can you walk us through like what did it feel like accomplishing something that big?
Well, I'll go back to like my freshman year. I never necessarily had the vision of breaking the scoring record. Obviously, everyone wants to break the scoring record, but it's not like that's the only thing I want to do. Like my goals were I wanted to win. I was thinking about the future of our team, and I was thinking about my future in college for sure when I was young. But just over time, and my game kept improving. I was put in a great situation at Paint Valley, and within our offense. This freshman year and the sophomore year, I got so much better. I took my biggest jump in junior year, and I think I averaged about 22 a game my junior year. And then it's like, okay, like if I keep this up next year and keep improving, then I definitely got a shot at it. And as it wound down, I knew it was coming up, and I knew I just had to just keep doing what I always do. I couldn't think about like, oh, I got to get behind this game or something. We just got to play how we've been playing. And then everything just fell into place. And I remember getting it was funny. I got the SVC record on senior night against Huntington, which was pretty cool to do on senior night. Yeah, it was the most packed I've ever seen that gym.
We probably were breaking fire laws. I mean, it was people standing
sure.
on the steps of the stage, and you were there.
Yeah,
then ended up.
I made sure I was very loud when
you
did that.
I got like 70 videos from different people that videoed the basket.
Yeah.
So I got all these different angles from everywhere. It's cool. He did it on. I hope Gavin Snyder's watching because he did it over Gavin Snyder.
We'll make sure to send him the tape. Doing it against Huntington. That has to be cool too, man. Doing it on the biggest rival, Huntington.
Rivals,
I mean, that's a cool rival.
The roar that arose when he hit that shot was deafening. Mm-hmm. People were so happy for him.
I think the first thing he did was go hug your mom too, right? You and your mom have a great relationship. That's awesome, man. That's great. Staying humble. I mean,
the fact that Paint Valley has that record, I mean, it means everything to me.
And that's kind of what we're talking about a little bit earlier is that, with the SVC, it doesn't matter if you're the biggest school. It doesn't matter if you're small. I mean, we're the small school in the league, and we have a record like that,
Unless I happened to have my back turned or something on some basket, I'm pretty sure I saw every point.
Yeah. How's that? I mean, you're not just front row, like you're there, like coaching him. Like that has to be a special, because I know you and Dylan have a special bond. That had to be something special for you.
Oh
as well,
yeah,
Coach.
Yeah. I cried.
Yeah. Well, Dylan, this is the Ride the Wave show. We're glad that you got to take a little bit of time out of your day to come hang out with us idiots and coach. It was.
Thanks for separating me from.
No problem. I would never call you an idiot. I can still run suicides if you say so. So I will.
You weren't my coach, but I wouldn't do it. I want to run.
Before we get Dylan out of here, Dylan, you're lucky that you weren't there the year that I first went there because we lost the game by 45 points. That I guess we should not have, and so Shu decided to start practice, not the whole practice, to start practice. We were going to run a stair lap around the gym for every point we lost. And then we had a 2-hour practice after that. So Be lucky.
Yeah.
I know you had some bad
But
times, but that
Bob,
was.
Yeah,
Bob
thanks for taking
Huggins.
one for
Bob
the team.
Huggins taught me a long time ago that I heard him say to his kids, "I can't make you hate to lose, but I can make you hate what's going to happen to you after you lose."
And you succeeded. But Dylan, thank you so much for coming on, man. But we do have, listen, we ask the hard questions around here. We do great journalism. We are going to go deep into your personal life. What? It's a Saturday.
Most important question.
Most
of the
important
day.
question probably you'll be asked the rest
in
of
your
life.
lifetime.
Yeah, really. It's a Saturday afternoon. Ohio State, Michigan just started. You're up tailgating with Bronner and them at the Ohio State game. You have a plate in your hand, and whatever you say is going to pop on it. You get a main dish, 2 sides, and a drink. What are you picking?
My game day food, I gotta go a cheeseburger whipped
All
up
right.
by Jay Riley himself on the Blackstone.
Okay, the legend pants.
Some mac and cheese.
Okay.
And say some watermelon. Yeah. Some
All
watermelon
right.
on there as well.
What's your drink?
Solid plate. Drink. Water.
You did not want to say water, my friend, but I respect it. Ladies and
it.
gentlemen, the absolute legend,
Legend.
Dylan Swingle.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
guys
coming on,
for
buddy.
having me. It's been a blast. Thank you.
Guys, what an absolute fire interview. I'm just going to
Such
harp
a
on
great
this.
conversation.
Dude, I'm just going to harp on it some more, man. My senior year, you can ask you, I took passing to heart. I thought that was like the number one part of my game. So whenever I had Dylan come up, I was like, give me the assist. An absolute
Thank
assist
God.
machine. Yes, like, come
What
on.
an
man.
absolute animal.
He
Just
was.
would take games over.
He was.
Yeah, like I said on that highlight tape, couldn't really tell that he had footwork until I saw
Yeah.
his college, and then he starts doing footwork. It's like, oh, he had it the whole time. He just didn't have to use it.
Yeah,
in high
I feel like
school. That's just
even
awesome.
now he never got the full respect that
He
he
does.
deserved.
Yeah,
I-
he's a dog.
I mean, it was insane. What was it like coaching him? Shu? I mean, having somebody that big, that legendary.
Yeah,
I mean,
just this box out right here again.
like
just
a
my
coach's
favorite
dream.
thing. It's just the fundamentals. Just gets him out of off the court. Off the court. Just
and that's
love
what I
it.
thought
Yeah.
was amazing. He's an absolute star athlete, but he's still doing the little things that a player like me has to do.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? You can really put him in any single role.
The respect thing, I agree with. There's this Southern Ohio message board or whatever it's called, Southeastern Ohio Preps or whatever, and they had who's the best player to play in Southern Ohio.
Yeah.
There'd been like 40 answers, and nobody mentioned the all-time leading scorer
Wow.
in
Yeah.
Ross County.
Yeah.
And I said, anybody going to mention Dylan? I never comment on there because you're dealing with people that don't
Exactly.
know what the hell they're talking about. But somebody said, well, if he was 6 foot tall, he would have never scored. I said, if Tom Brady was 5'2", he wouldn't have won 7 Super Bowls either. What the hell's
If
your
Shaq
point?
was 6 foot.
And I said, not only that, there's been a lot of guys 6'8", 6'9" that have played.
Alex
You know, not a
Kinsey.
lot, but there's been quite a few, and none of them were the all-time leading scorer.
First one that comes to mind, Alex Kimsey at Unioda. He was
Yeah.
just as tall as Dylan
Yeah.
was. I mean, I'm not saying he was bad, but he was not the leading scorer. I mean,
No.
at Unioda, I don't think he won any championships with him. You know what I mean? So Dylan, I mean, he was the full package. He was giant, but
That touch
yeah,
is crazy.
it
Great
touched-
role model.
Exactly.
The basketball IQ, just being able to just find other teammates and not being the guy that's like, oh, I'm the guy here. I'm just gonna make sure that I score mine. You know, he cares about winning, just a team player.
And another kid from around here that's like my teammates, my community,
Yes.
my coach. You know, it's
And-
like everything on them.
And to harp on you making his teammates better, like Shu said, Bryce Newland was a great basketball player, right? You look at Bryce Newland's freshman year, his 1 year with Dylan Swingle, he averaged, like 22 points?
The first 2 years he played with Dylan, and he averaged 15 and 17
After
or something.
that, he was just kind of like, no, he did have an injury, but he was around like 10, maybe. Like he dropped a lot, and it's not because of him as a player, but he missed the big man, taking away a lot of the attention, but also a big man that can find him. They were a great, whenever Shu was coaching them, they were a great read the defense. I think we have a highlight where Bryce has it, Dylan's cutting, and Bryce has a no-look pass to Dylan for a dunk. And Dylan can get it. Bryce was a great shooter. Find him on the outside and pop a 3.
Here's the kind of kid Dylan was. If we'd maybe won 7 or 8, 9, and 10 in a row or whatever, but we were getting a little lackadaisical, not working hard, I would pull Dylan into my office before practice and say, listen, there's going to be a point in this practice where I'm going to go off on you. I'm going to rip your ass. I'm going to poke you in the chest. I'm going to tell you you're not working hard enough. I'm doing this because all the other kids would know, look, if he's doing that to Swingle, I better get my act together.
Exactly.
And he said, go for it. Do it.
That,
The Belichick method.
I said Belichick. So the whole reason he even signed Tim Tebow was to cut him to
Yeah.
show everybody on the team, hey,
Yeah.
I'll cut anybody. I don't
Yeah.
care who you are.
Yeah.
You know?
And I thought you did a great. I mean, obviously, sure, you're a great coach, but I think what you did so well is you didn't just have players on your team and then got rid of them. Like, you made a connection with them. You knew us as people, and then that made you know where to put us. On
Everything, not just sports, life,
Yeah.
teaching, your work, whatever. It's all about relationships.
100%.
If you don't have relationships with your players, you're not going to get anything out of them. If you don't have relationships with them and you yell and scream at them, they're going to turn you off. But if they know you love them and care about them, you can say whatever you want.
Right.
I mean, I called you every name in the book, but you knew I loved
You
you.
even wrote a whole other book.
Yeah.
More names.
Yeah.
So you've obviously coached at all these different levels. Like, what's the one thing that you've continued to push through all this?
The one thing I continue to push, probably relationships, probably what I'm talking about. Relationships.
What's a tradition that you try to keep alive each place you go?
Jeez. What was our traditions?
Not
What did we do?
necessarily
Huh?
that, like a tradition,
Well-
like something off the court, maybe, you know.
Oh.
Well, we
West
were
Virginia
old
camp.
school. I mean, I never wore sweatsuits to games. I always
Yeah.
wore a tie
Respect for the game.
because I respected the game.
Yeah.
Our kids, they either wore traveling uniforms or they wore ties to games. You know, our behavior off the court was as important as our behavior on the court.
You made it feel like it was like in the 90s, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's kind of something I
Yeah.
wanted to segue into. We were kind of talking a little bit last show. The SVC in the 90s, Coach, I mean, you literally lived it. You coached it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it was amazing.
We read your article a little bit, but we cannot speak on it, obviously, because we weren't even alive. What was
Born
it
in
like
97.
in the 90s basketball?
Early 90s in particular was, I mean, there were – Justin Kello at Huntington told me that he thought the top 5 teams in the league that year could have won the league any year since then.
Yeah.
I mean that's how good the teams were. But
your 93 team finished, what, like fourth?
no,
Third?
93 we won the league.
Yeah, but in 92.
92 we finished third.
Yeah.
And then went to the districts.
And that just kind of shows how deep it was.
But Unioda, who'd gone to the final game the year before and had Matt Combs and all those guys back, they finished 4th in 92.
Wow. Oh, my God.
Yeah, and Piketon had Eric Cottle, and they were loaded. Huntington had Scott Keller and Chad Lytle. They would shut down the gyms like at 5 o'clock. The police would shut the gyms down because they were so overcrowded. There would be signs on the doors said that no one else allowed.
See, I only
Our
had
varsity wouldn't have any place to sit when
Yeah.
we'd go to games.
See, I only had one experience like that was my senior year when we played Unioda. I remember I worked in the office last period. Well, I was supposed to work in the office last period, and I remember Unioda fans were already at the front door of the school lying down the parking lot, and school was not out yet. It just SVC fans, man,
It's
they're
just
wild
different.
about their school. They're going to show up. They're going to show out.
It was back then. It was you got away with the fans got away with a lot more. I remember I went to scout, or maybe I saw a video of it. Huntington was playing at Zane Trace in the pit over there, their old gym, and these fans on the stage, the high school fans, their pep section, they had these fishing poles with dolls that looked like Scott Keller and and they were hanging from nooses.
Oh my
and they were like dangling them. They were dangling them over their heads during the game. Yeah. Oh, it's insane. It was
It
crazy.
sounds like that Western
Remember-
game you had.
Yeah. Oh my Lord.
Yeah,
See,
she's
my
still
favorite
not
thing-
allowed.
That could be a whole podcast
Oh yeah, we'll have
talking
you on
about
for that
one.
later. I
Yeah.
promise you. Yeah, that's. We're
And you
gonna have
need to
have you
bring
on
Todd Shoemaker and Craig Kearns in
Yeah.
for that one. We can
Craig
tell that
Kearns-
whole story.
again. Craig Kearns was
Shout
the
out.
last player of the year from Pan Valley before Dylan. That was
Yeah.
from '93. So cool fun
Dog.
fact: the only coach to coach a player of the year at Pan Valley is this man sitting right here.
Hey, what a
We
dog.
had Unioda had a it's this little mascot. It was a tank that someone built out of like plywood.
Yeah.
And it had it had a cannon and everything, and it was built on like a little tricycle or something, and it was purple and gold. And he would lead the team out.
Yeah.
And one of our guys in our pep section, just as they came onto the court, he sprinted out and just trucked this thing. And like splintered wood went flying, and the thing rolled over. I mean, it was our cheerleaders had these signs made for the coaches and the players, professionally done, beautiful wood signs for their yards. And we went to play at Unioda, and in the middle of their pep section, they were holding up that sign. They'd stole it from his yard before the game.
I love how the SVC. I know you've harped on before where they wanted to split the divisions. I was kind of for that to make it, bigger and bring more attention. I also like though, man. It seems like you can say every single team in the SVC is your biggest rival. You know what I mean? We say Unioda because they're good. We're playing them a lot, but in I think it was the 80s or 90s, you could have said Westfall for football, but Payne Valley and Westfall. Obviously Huntington is our rival. Zane Trace. I mean, it's just every single time it's always personal.
Yeah, Unioda's like everybody's right.
Exactly.
Well, so something I was gonna say is like coming from the TVC, all of our teams are spread out. Like I said, Belpre is like it's a team we never play, but they're like an hour and a half away.
Yeah.
Here in the SVC, what's Paint Valley is the farthest away from Huntington, and that's like that's like a 40-minute drive.
Yeah.
Paint Valley to Huntington's
it's
like
Westfall.
15,
Westfall,
20.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah, in Westfall, which I love having in the league, doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I mean, it feels like they should be in that.
Miami Trace.
Yeah, Miami
and all
Trace,
that.
Circleville.
They split kids. and all
The
that
thing
deal.
is, a lot of the schools are close together, but they all surround Chillicothe.
Yeah.
So all the kids see each other all the time in Chillicothe.
Yeah.
It's not like you guys hung around in Bainbridge very much. You came to Chillicothe to do stuff, and that's what every school
And
did.
then you just ran into everybody.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it is now, but when I was still in high school, it was still you're going down to the park to play basketball on any nice day, and that's how it was for people from Unioda, Chillicothe, Huntington, all those schools. And the cool part was, you say how we surround Chillicothe. The Chillicothe athletes still played down there, so I think that was an advantage for us in the SVC playing against technically Division I high school athletes. You know what I mean? Kind of make us better without us even realizing.
And you remember our open gyms?
our
We had
open
kids
gyms
from
were lethal.
all over Southern Ohio.
Yeah.
I mean,
We had body bags at the door just in case. I mean, it was talk about how Dylan got over people hanging on him. Open gyms, I was literally punching him in the ribs.
yeah, we'd have 70, 80 kids in there. We'd play cross court and have teams sitting out.
Yeah. All right, Shu. So we're going to end this show with the Tailgate food draft. Would you like to be a part of it?
Absolutely, because
All
I got
right.
a great one for you.
All right, so we're going to do a draft order. So basically, if like somebody picks a cheeseburger, it's off the board, anything like that. Shu, with you being our guest, you get the #1 pick.
Now we will say this: wings, we're using it as a main course because there's like 20 of them.
Yeah, so you'll get like a big old thing of wings, so you can't use
Okay.
them as a side.
I thought I'd been to good tailgates at Bengals games and Ohio State games, and then I was invited to a West Virginia football game.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll choose what I was handed on a plate that day: a big hunk of bear meat.
Bear meat as
Yeah.
#1 pick. All right.
Didn't see that.
It was amazing.
All right. So, Andy, bear meat. I know it was on your list.
Gonna have
It
to
is
take
now
that one
off
off.
the
And the
board.
guy had shot it in his backyard.
Even better.
Oh, convenient.
Now,
One-stop shop.
What a welcome to West Virginia moment.
I said, "Where'd you go out west or something hunting?" He said, "No, it was in my backyard. It was bothering my
I woke up, saw the
bothering
bear,
my
and I was
chickens."
hungry. All right, Andy. you are on the clock, my friend. What is your first pick? Are you going with sides? You going with drink? You going with main dish?
I gotta go ribs, man.
You're going with ribs.
Ooh, that's a good
Okay. Okay, barbecue ribs. Gotcha. Now, what makes you go with barbecue ribs?
I feel like it's hard to. That's a hard thing to mess up.
It
Like,
is, okay.
they're always good.
All right. Adam, you are on the clock, my friend. What are you picking with your first pick?
Well, so since I know
Bear
these
meat
guys,
gone.
these guys already went with their main courses. I'm gonna be able to get main course second round. I'm gonna go ahead and go with Brewski.
All right.
Take the
Adam.
best drink
good
off
pick.
the table. Take the
Good
best
pick.
drink off the table.
Yeah, he
You know?
definitely took my number one pick
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Definitely took my number one
Yeah.
That
pick.
was my number 2.
All right, so we got Shu with bear meat. We got Andy with the ribs. We got Adam with his beer. It looks like I have to go sides. I'll do. We're doing the snake order, so we'll go twice and then go
Okay.
back. Yeah. So I have to go with side as number 1, and I think Dylan and I think Brock hit it on the head. It has to be mac and cheese. It has to be. The best is the mac and cheese with like the burnt cheese
Yeah.
on top.
You like
Oh,
yes.
that's the best.
Yeah.
Yes. So I have to go mac
Yeah.
and cheese. And then
You're taking mac and cheese. That means with my pick, I just gotta go side. I gotta go baked beans.
well, I still got another pick.
I thought, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you're
That's
lucky
right, yeah.
because I hate baked beans.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you can still have it. But I'm thinking, do I go with another side or do I go with my main dish? Because you still have your main, but I don't think you'll take mine. You know, I'm going to go with. I'm going to go. Oh, man, I am tilting hard here. All right. I'm going to go with a sub. But I get a pick from where it's from. It is a Mr. Sub Italian
Great
sub.
pick.
That's what I'm going
An
with my main
Italian.
course on my plate. Mr. Sub Italian sub. So I got my main dish. I got my side. Adam, are you going with baked beans? As
No,
your
I'm
side?
not. I'm gonna go with the meatballs. I was just trying to throw you off.
All right.
I was trying to throw you
Oh,
off with
that's
the baked
great.
beans. This
That's
one.
great.
Yeah, if you would have said meatballs, I
tailgating.
would have taken
Yeah.
it. So good job, my friend.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to throw you off with the baked beans.
All
but-
right. All right, Andy. So you have barbecue ribs as your main course. Are you going with sides? Or are you going with drink?
I want ski.
Oh, not a sponsor. Will
Not
be a
yet.
sponsor eventually. So Andy going with ski. I can't believe we didn't go with that. Well, you went with
I went
beer.
with Brewski.
You already took
yeah.
brewski.
Well, I don't know what I'm gonna drink at this freaking tailgate now because there's all my picks. All right, sure. You got bear meat as your main course.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to West Virginia,
Okay.
and I'm going to have one of the greatest. It's an appetizer, could be considered a side.
We'll side for this.
From Mountain Mama's Bar and Grill, the bacon wrapped cheese sticks.
Oh.
That's definitely a side. That's a good one.
Oh, they're
pick.
amazing.
Oh my God, that has.
That sounds good.
Oh, they're so.
So we're
never
going to
had
West
these.
Virginia. I don't know if you guys.
They're the bacon's not just wrapped. It's not just bacon wrapped around a cheese stick. Like it's cooked into the
Oh my
breading.
Oh, wow.
It's amazing.
All right, sure. So you got one more pick as you're going back to back for the snake.
Oh,
Are
yeah.
you going with your drink or are you going to go with your last side?
I got to go with a drink. Also, what I was served at the West Virginia tailgate. I'm pretty sure you can guess if I gave you 3 guesses what they gave me.
Oh, it's gonna be
Moonshine.
Yo!
Finishing it strong.
She's not really going to be making it to the. At least I would. At
He
least I
said,
would.
"How's the game?"
That
I
is a
don't know.
tailgate.
Man,
fun
well,
tailgate,
this just in, we are moving the podcast to West Virginia. All right, Andy. So you got your barbecue ribs. You're washing it down with some ski. So it looks like you just need one
Now,
or two
with the
sides.
snake order, wouldn't he go back to back?
Oh, she
Yeah.
did go back to back.
Oh,
he
he
did
did
the
go
bacon wrap and then he did the
Yeah.
moonshine.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Goofy.
I wrote this down because I would forget.
Yeah.
Andy, what are you doing with your side, man?
Decisions.
I
Man.
know, it's a
Everybody
hard-
took my
it's a hard
pick
thing to
now.
pick.
Like, this is hard.
So just while you think, I'll kind of run down the order for you. So Shu has bear meat with his bacon wrapped cheese sticks and moonshine. I'm sitting over here with my mac and cheese and my Mr. Subs. Shout out. Adam has a beer and meatballs, and you're sitting there with your barbecue ribs and ski.
I think I'm going Vienna sausage.
All right, are you doing the little
They're
What we
usually
had last
right
night?
next
The
to the
little
meatballs
barbecue?
with the
Yeah.
sauce on them.
Yeah.
Barbecue
See, that's what I'm
sauce
saying.
or
Yeah.
just regular?
Barbecue.
Yeah, I got to go
Yeah.
barbecue.
See, that's what I mean.
They have like jalapeno hot sauce
Yeah.
now too.
That sounds pretty good.
That's great.
I almost went hollow. Oh wait, I gotta wait for you to pick yours before I say.
I about gave up the secret.
Yeah. Well, as much as I want to go ahead and take jalapeno poppers off the table, I think I'm going to. I think I'm going to take jalapeno poppers. I think I'm going to.
Going with an interesting meal.
That was going to be my next one.
Right. So, Adam, you're sitting there with your beer, your meatballs, and your jalapeno poppers. You're waiting for your main dish. I'm going to be finishing out my draft, actually. I would be taking my last side of my drink. I got to go with the Dr. Pepper. I mean, you guys took everything else that I went, so we'll do Dr. Pepper there.
Expecting water.
And then let's see. I gotta go with the side here. So I got my sub. I got some mac and cheese. I can't do wings, so we decided that they would be a main course. I think I just gotta go with some fries, but not any fries. I want to go with Arby's fries, the curly
Solid.
fries. I think that's what I'll go with. Yeah. So we'll do Arby's fries. So I finished mine out with mac and cheese, Arby's fries, Mr. Sub, and a Dr. Pepper. Adam, you are picking your main meat.
Now, who is Wings still on the board?
Winston?
Wings.
Wings.
Yeah, Wings is still on the board.
I think I'm still getting to steal the draft right here. With
Yeah,
Wings
that's
in the
a
board.
solid
Yeah,
value.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
go with
so-
Wings as my main
You
course.
did.
Great value.
Yeah.
So
for the
I
pick.
always
Didn't expect to get him 4th round, but hell
I'm
yeah.
not gonna lie. After I said sub, I immediately regretted it.
Where are you getting them? Where are you getting
Yeah.
these wings?
Oh, there's only one answer.
Yeah, as I said last episode, Wagner's.
Yeah,
There we
Wagner
go.
Wings,
Yep.
absolutely goated. Alrighty, so Adam, you finish off with a beer with your meatballs, your jalapeno poppers, and wings. Andy, you are with your barbecue ribs, your Vienna sausages with barbecue sauce. I put barbecue sausage on accident. And you have a ski to drink. What's your final side, my friend?
I think I'm gonna go chips.
Chips. All right, all right.
What
you
kind?
knew
What flavor?
Solid.
Sour cream and onion.
Sour cream and onion. That's
Good
a
pick.
Solid, that's a
Good
solid,
pick.
That's a solid.
Alrighty, Shu.
pick
So
out.
you are down to your last pick. Just a little recap. Andy, barbecue ribs, Vienna sausages, chips, and a ski. Adam is doing a beer with meatballs, jalapeno poppers, and wings. I will do mac and cheese, Mr. Sub, Dr. Pepper with some Arby's fries. And you right now have bear meat, bacon wrapped cheese sticks, and moonshine. It is a
I
close.
feel like no one was ever gonna take his pick.
No, not at all. His
Hey,
board
We
was
was
safe.
all safe.
Staple #1 pick of the draft, though. I think you and Adam are going to be fighting. Also, before we get this out, we will have a vote on Twitter whenever we release this. You'll vote for your favorite team. Winner will be, we'll just say #1 pick in next week's draft.
Yeah,
so sure, you're
Oh,
going
if
to
it's me,
end
I'm
this.
wearing a crown.
You are going to end this off here. What is your last side?
I'm going to go with pepper jack cheese curds.
Oh, all right.
That is a good
I've
play.
heard of cheese curds. Never pepper jack cheese curds. That
dude,
sounds
let's-
Oh,
solid
amazing.
play.
I think they have them at Jerry's, right?
They got
Is
them at
that-
Jerry's West, yeah.
Jerry's West.
I'm
Shout
always-
out.
I'm always going to Jerry's East. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
I bet they have them over there too.
Are they
Yeah.
even? Is
They're
Jerry's
great.
East still open?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Alrighty, so to finish us off, Shu got bear meat with some bacon wrapped cheese sticks, some pepper jack cheese curds, liking the cheese over there. Are you
Right.
getting some pepper jack cheese with your bacon wrapped cheese sticks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that,
I
that's
figured
what I
all the
figured.
cheese.
Yeah.
Big
and
cheese guy.
He's washing all of that down with some moonshine. So
That's
good
right.
luck to you on that one for that
The
Saturday.
game not important for him.
Andy, you went with some barbecue ribs with your barbecue Vienna sausages, some sour cream and onion chips with a ski. You definitely, I think, other than the beer, won the drink. I got Adam down here with some beer, meatballs, jalapeno poppers, and wings. What kind of
Good
flavor?
draft.
Flavor for the wings. What are you doing?
I'm gonna have to go with the OG. I'm gonna get a mix of both. There's probably gonna be some buffalo, some spicy buffalo, and then
Okay.
some like spicy barbecue.
We
Oh,
go
right.
traditional, bone in. Yeah, bone in.
well,
What
it's
are we
it's
doing?
tailgate. It has to be traditional.
There we
Yeah.
go. See, right answer.
All
I
right.
prefer the boneless, but if I'm in a tailgate, there's no way.
I like
I'm
to
getting
I like
boneless
to
in my
mix
head.
the Thai and the Korean out at
Oh.
Roosters.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
it's really
really
good.
That's a
good.
good pick.
And then I finished off with mac and cheese. I don't care what anybody says. I think I got the best side. That's about it, though, because then for some reason I got a sub and Arby's fries.
Hey, it's a Mr. Sub.
It just looks like I didn't go to a tailgate.
Yeah, I mean, if I were you, I would have grabbed the meatball sub of all subs.
Yeah, nah, man, that Italian from Mr.
This-
Sub is just goaded.
Oh, it is. Trust me, I
goated.
know.
Yeah. Oh, we know. We had. What's up
Especially
with food on this show?
I want us down to here.
Shu, thank you for coming in. Tony actually was fighting a shark while fighting a bear while
Saving a baby girl that fell into the ocean.
Yeah,
And pray for the shark, guys.
I don't know if we guys told you this, but he is Superman part-time and Spider-Man, so he does get a little bit busy. That's why he wasn't here today. So thank you, Shu, for coming in.
Special
joining us
guest,
here.
Shu.
My pleasure. Had fun.
Get used to Shu. He will be on here a lot more. We tried to improvise and have him on last week, but he decided to be a good grandpa and go see his grandkids. So.
You gotta have somebody smart on here. That way they can keep us idiots.
Balance us
Exactly.
out.
Make sure we're getting the facts right.
But you guys, thanks for coming in, for taking this mental vacation with us. We hope you enjoyed yourself. We will be back here next week. We got some big things coming, like I said. We got a Patreon
Big things.
going. If you would like to subscribe to our Patreon, help us, keep this going. We'll have the link of that in the comments. Adam, what did you learn today on today's show?
I just wanted to say, I know we didn't get into it, but also the Paints will probably go ahead and drop a link for them as well. Like
Yeah,
their
the
website
Red Hot
and
Paints.
Then, and then the Prospect League, just in case you want to check anybody out, like the Johnstown Mill Rats or anybody
Yes.
else in that league.
The Paints
There's
are
a lot
hot,
of good
man. They're going
baseball.
for back-to-back titles. We got to stay on top of that. It looks like they're first
They're
in
on a
the in their division. Then I think there's another team that's first in the other division that's like the same record. So it looks like they're both going right there to have one epic battle in the championship. Andy, what'd you learn on this fine show today?
Bear meat worth the hype.
Yes.
West Virginia tailgates
Yes.
need
Oh.
to go to.
Yes, for
Amazing.
sure. We will have to have that, and we'll just make it a little commercial or something. That's going to be awesome.
I learned I want to go tailgating with Shu.
Yeah. I learned that Shu is a great tailgate.
Yeah.
You ain't making it to the game.
Who wants to?
Shu, again, thank you for coming on. You really are electric. And having you and Swingle on at the same time was absolutely awesome to get.
You're welcome.
Those memories. Everybody, if you like us, make sure to click the bell and subscribe. We'll be on Spotify as well as YouTube. Have a good time. Big time. And we'll be seeing you next week. Derek, take us out.